Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Morning. Today's hearing of the Committee on Women, Children, Family Relations, and Gender Equality is a motu proprio inquiry in aid of legislation on Senate Resolution number 357. This hearing is held with the consent of the majority of the members of the committee. Senate Resolution 357 was filed by this representation to look into Roblox and other online gaming platforms as they are being used as a medium to exploit and abuse children. This discussion aims to come up with recommendations that will mandate age verification protocols and child safety standards, among others. That being said, this hearing is hereby called to order. I will shortly acknowledge the presence of my colleagues as they arrive. So as a way of opening this discussion, please allow me this short opening statement. The central issue up for discussion today makes me wish that contemporary life, saturated by technology, was less complicated, especially for our children. These are moments when I wish children could just play and enjoy the benefits of technology. Benefits that develop their various skills and allow their creativity to flourish without exposing them to different kinds of harm that exploit the vulnerabilities of their young minds. Our discussion of Senate Resolution 357 has a clear and urgent purpose: to protect Filipino children in an increasingly complex digital world. What were once seen as harmless spaces for play and creativity, online gaming platforms have evolved into powerful social environments where children interact, communicate, and unfortunately can also be harmed. Nakikita po natin kung paano sinasamantala ang mga espasyong ito para abusuhin ang ating mga anak. These platforms for play may be exploited for online sexual abuse and exploitation of children, for grooming, for extortion, and even for the spread of violent and extremist ideas. Isang halimbawa na rito ay yung nabalitaan natin kamakailan na kaso ng 7 kabataan sa Laguna na naimpluwensyahan sa nilalaro nilang online games na magsagawa sana ng karahasan. These instances remind us that these risks are real, immediate, and deeply concerning. Aside from gaming platforms, kinakasangkapan din ng iba pang internet intermediaries tulad ng Facebook, kung saan makikitang may mga nagbebenta at nagtitrade ng mga accounts that are age-verified. Minors may try to buy accounts tailored to adults to gain access to a wider variety of content, while adult players may seek accounts verified for child age cohorts. Without the benefit of regulation, it is concerning that these accounts may very well fall into the hands of bad actors. As legislators, we must ensure that innovation does not come at the price of safety. The burden cannot rest solely on parents and children. Gaming platforms and other relevant intermediaries must be held accountable, and government must set clear, rights-based standards that uphold both protection and dignity. This hearing is about building a digital environment where every Filipino child can learn, play, and interact with others, free from the dangers of abuse, exploitation, and harm. Marami pong salamat. Could I now ask our committee secretary to please acknowledge the resource persons present?
Good morning, everyone. For the record, the committee would like to acknowledge the presence of the following resource persons. From the Department of Justice, we have Attorney Stephanie Garay, Attorney Army Duques Gutierrez Bogarin. From the National Coordination Center Against OSAIC and OSAEM, we have Attorney Barbara May Pagdilao Flores. From the Department of Information and Communication Technology, we have Undersecretary Sara Sison, Assistant Secretary Ryan Cote, From the Cyber Crime Investigation and Coordinating Center, we have Attorney Noel Carlo Grazila. From the National Privacy Commission, we have Attorney Vida Zora Bucar. From the National Telecommunication Commission, we have Commissioner Ella Blanca Lopez. Deputy Commissioner Andres Castillar Jr. We have Attorney Regina Aniel Cruz Velasco. Then from the Department of Social Welfare and Development, we have Assistant Secretary Saide Asias. From the Department of Health, we have Dr. Brennan Marie Refuerzo. Then from the Philippine National Police, we have Police Colonel Romeo Desiderio. From the Council for the Welfare of Children, we have Undersecretary Angelo Tapales. From the Department of Trade and Industry, we have Ms. Perpetua Werlima Lim. Then from the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, we have Attorney Maria Corazon Velhera Cordero. Attorney Regina Quelli Orendain. Attorney Catherine May Devesa Lau. Then from Dep Web Connect, we have Mr. Luis Angelo Talatala. From Terra de Homes, Netherlands, we have Ms. Joanna Abelinde. From the Globe Telecom, we have Mr. Carlo Bernardo Santos. Attorney Joseph Malcontento. From Smart Communication, we have Mr. Kenneth Regañon and Attorney Roy Ibay. From GCash, we have Attorney Mark Anthony Amurao, Attorney Gilbert Escoto, Attorney Ramon Mathay. From Roblox Corporation will join us online. We have Miss Nikki Jackson Colaco, Mr. Edward Palmieri, Mr. Hunter Goldman. That's all for, thank you.
Salamat, Comsec. I saw at least one resource person, I think from the Bangko Sentral, who's not sitting at the table. Please, those who were acknowledged and are in one of the side chairs, please take a chair in the center of the table. Thank you so much. Okay. So, unang tanong ko po sa DICT, Yusek Sara. Madali po, ha? Sorry, CICC first. Attorney Gracila. Okay. So, no. Diba? CICC is under DICT. Yeah, okay. So, all right, okay. Okay. So, Attorney Gracila, wala na po ba sa usapan yung ban laban sa Roblox? Could you expound on this?
Ms. Chair, actually, the CICC, the position of the CICC is anchored on the compliance before restriction, Your Honor. Considering that there are already avenues, talks made with Roblox Corporation as to the demands of the, primarily of the Philippine government, as to the certain compliances to them. They are being requested, Your Honor, for a formal compliance directive was issued to Roblox Corporation, requiring them for the implementation of robust age verification systems, enhanced content moderation and detection tools, safeguards preventing unsupervised interaction between minor and unknown adults, improve transparency in reporting and enforcement mechanism, consideration of local accountability measures, Your Honor.
And what has been Roblox's response so far to this compliance directive on age verification, safeguards, transparency, and accountability?
Actually, during the meeting, Your Honor, they a meeting that they have attended upon invitation of the DICT, Your Honor, they have manifested their willingness to comply. But as of now, as far as I can remember, Your Honor, there is for this week they will be presenting certain improvements in their system, Your Honor.
Well, that's good to hear, Attorney Gracila. The committee will strive to get those responses also from Roblox and then from other regulators in partnership with the CICC, DICT during this hearing to also guide our own legislative process towards regulating such online gaming platforms for the safety of our children. All right, thank you, Attorney Gracila. This is the first time I've seen that designation, highly technical consultant. Highly po talaga. Just for my... Okay, I was curious. Now I know something new. Thank you, Attorney Gracila. Kung pwede ko pong matanong ang PNP ACG, Colonel Desiderio, pwede po bang ma-confirm for the record yung nangyari sa isang eskwelahan sa Calabarzon kung saan muntik magkaroon di umano ng school shooting dahil di umano sa conversation na nung una nangyari daw sa Roblox. So I'm asking, for the benefit also of our resource persons online, I'm asking the good colonel to confirm that reported incident of a school shooting that was prevented in the Calabarzon region, which reportedly began the discussions began in conversations on Roblox. Can you walk us through that case, Colonel? Of course, while leaving out the identifying details of those minors involved.
Yes, ma'am. For the information, ma'am, of this committee, first, we have conducted the rescue operation of 7 high school students. This is on the preemption of violence school in Calamba, Laguna. So that was on January 13th of this year. The information came from our foreign counterpart and the ATFG. So they became aware concerning this Facebook communication by one user.
Colonel, sino po yung, and before I pose my interjecting question,
Yes.
the Chair would just like to acknowledge, dear colleagues, the presence of Senator Amy Marcos. Salamat, Sen.
ma'am.
Amy, for joining the hearing. Just after this question to the Colonel, I'll ask if you have any opening statement. Salamat po. Yes, Colonel, please proceed. Yung binanggit nyo pong may nag-report sa inyo, sino po ba yung nag-report? Kasi balita po namin, foreign law enforcement pa ito.
Yes, ma'am, foreign law enforcement. Since we are member, the PNPACG is member of the ATFG, Anti-Terrorism Fusion Group. So on January 13 this year, ma'am, we were informed by this foreign law enforcement agency through our Anti-Terrorism Fusion Group concerning Facebook communication by the user RAH. So
Excuse me again, Colonel. Sorry, ang Facebook po ba, COMSEC, andito sa hearing natin? Para on the record, COMSEC.
It
Madam Chair, they're
originated
not-
from Roblox, ma'am.
Yes, Madam Chair, they're not represented.
But the committee invited Facebook to be a resource person, correct? So why are they not present?
Madam Chair, we invited Facebook, but they did not reply to our letter.
Oh my, didn't even reply. I thought at the very least they would have a reason or an acceptable excuse. All right, that's well noted by the chair. I hope it won't require the chair subpoenaing Facebook just to attend a hearing where their platform is one of those that we would like to draw in to regulation. Because as the Colonel just mentioned, and as the committee knows, these disturbing incidents on Roblox also occurred, no, in a wider circle on Facebook Meta. So please proceed, Colonel.
So, nakuha tong information, ma'am, through our Facebook messages. So, the messages reference on past mass attacks and discuss using a fire extinguisher for a plus blinding effect, IEDs, or the improvised explosive devices, and Molotov cocktails. So, it also stated desire to carry out a school shooting locally and an intent to die by suicide. So ito yung mga information nakuha natin sa Facebook messages na to. Then, the message also asserted family possession of firearms, which already inquired at a firing range on how to practice gun shooting. Then some information mentioned plans toward the natural selection or the Hitler shirts, yung sa Nazis. Then post a final YouTube message and write a manifesto. So ito yung ginawa nung ating na-rescue, ma'am. Then they plan to conduct a mass shooting on supposed to be February 16, 2026 during the foundation week along with his 6 friends. So the intervention was made by PNP-ACG. So nagkontain ng rescue operation with these 7 recently lang, ma'am, together with the DSWD of LGUs, and including also the local police. And for the record, ma'am, also for the information of this committee, we have conducted already 5 rescue operations. So aside from this Kalamba, mayroon pa tayong other 5 rescue operations. This involved rescue of 12 minors. And the areas include Marikina, Las Piñas, Negros Occidental, and Pampanga. And currently, we have 7 cases now ongoing for the conduct of this rescue. So, for the information of this committee. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Colonel Desiderio. Sobrang nakakabahala po. Talagang 180 degrees away from gaming, no? Itong mga planong gumamit ng mga sandata, gumawa ng karahasan laban sa mga kapwa-estudyante at hanggang sa sarili, the use of firearms, yung mga na-recover ng PNP na mga t-shirts, with those messages, with those teams, yun pong 5 operasyon pa dun sa nakarescue ng 12 minors sa Metro Manila, Luzon at Visayas, nagbunga ng 7 cases. Ito po ba ay panay sa Roblox din, at least nagsimula yung mga pag-uusap ng mga minors na yon?
Yes, ma'am. As per study ng ating unit in the ACG, so it all started in Roblox.
So baka it's just a matter of time. I hope not na meron pa kayong kailanganing i-rescue pati sa Mindanao. Kasi parang kumakalat, no, based on these previous operations. Sino po yung grupo na kumausap sa mga bata, at least dun sa kaso sa Laguna? Terrorist group ba to? Foreign group ba ito? Ano kaya yung end game nila?
Actually, ma'am, it will goes back doon sa tinatawag nating nihilistic violent extremism or the NBE. So, most of the groomer, nag-groom sa mga bata natin, ma'am, or sa mga children or minors, they are from abroad. Also, only one listed lang namin sa aming data is only 1, yung sa Filipino. But the victim is abroad naman, so baliktad. And the yung ating nihilistic violent extremism, ma'am, we have this yung extremism where yung intent, ma'am, no, the individuals or group commit or advocate violence because they believe life, society, or human existence has no value or meaning. So may mga group dito, ma'am, suspected yung information pinoprovide sa atin ng ating foreign law enforcement agency counterpart. So, yung victim ang tinuturo sa atin dito, ma'am. Once na nakuha na natin information, so we provide information report. sa ating foreign counterpart, law enforcement agency. So sila na yung nagpapalab doon sa areas of concern. And that's why yung ating ACG, ma'am, the PNP, so we have now a cyber patroller, mostly dito sa ating mga gaming apps, particularly sa Roblox nga. So nagpapatrolling tayo doon. And we had also meeting with Roblox recently. Ila, ma'am.
Yung sinabi nyo, Colonel, na paniniwala nila na life has no value, balita nga po namin, bukod dun sa natural selection t-shirts, may na-recover din kayong t-shirts na ang nakalagay ay No Lives Matter. So, merong ganun talaga silang, may ganun talaga silang filosofiya. Ano po yung profile ng mga students, Colonel? Nasa public schools ba sila? Private schools ba sila naka-enroll? At ano yung income profiles ng mga magulang nila?
Actually, ma'am, the age profile is between 12 years old to 15 years old. Most of our rescued minors. Then, sa school naman, majority of them are studying sa mga private schools.
So yung income profile ay ng mga magulang ay masasabi ba nating middle class hanggang mayaman hanggang lower class?
Based doon sa ma'am, na-rescue lang natin current data. So, since nasa private school, we assume nasa middle age to middle income and high income families.
And gaya ng sinabi nyo, 7 ng operasyon na mag-rescue, lahat mga bata na initially ginrooms. You use the word grooming Dati naririnig lang ng komiteng ito ang grooming kaugnay ng OSAEC, SISAM, pero pati pala dito sa tinawag nyong nihilistic violent extremism, may grooming. Nakita nyo yung pattern na-observe itong lahat na 7 cases at least sa Roblox.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, when we collect the data, some of them goes on ideology on Nazism, ma'am. Ito yung political principles of the National Socialist German Workers' Party, yung kay Adolf Hitler. Then some on Satanism, since may na-recover din kami. They often view as a symbol of individualism and rebellion. Then other is yung Order of the Nine Angels, yung sa occult. Then some are on idolizing personalities, particularly involved in violent extremism or violence. Mostly yung mga mass shooting incident happened in the US, Australia, more recently, ma'am. So they idolize these personalities.
So mukhang nagko-converge sa mga incidents na to, maraming negative influences, nagsasanib-sanib at nagbubunga ng ganitong mga konkretong incidents. Alright, maraming salamat, Colonel. At this point, Senator Amy, would you like to make an opening statement?
Thank you very much. I was very enthusiastic about joining this motu proprio hearing dahil full disclosure lang, ako'y nagpapatakbo dati ng isang animation and game development studio. Sa totoo lang, ganadong-ganado ako. Nung lumabas nga itong Roblox na to, I was a fan in the very beginning. Given that, it gave kids the opportunity to create new worlds, to embed themselves in gaming universe, and even upload and create games. So I thought it was a very thrilling enterprise, and I had full support for it, given that we had so many game development efforts. And since it's such a rich field of creativity, full disclosure further is I am the principal sponsor of the Creative Industries Law. And as a result, malapit talaga sa puso ko to. Nakakadismaya lang na nagagamit ito sa masasamang pakay ng iba.
Salamat, Senator Amy. Isa palang follow-up question kay Colonel. Ito pong mga estudyante na na recoveran nyo ng firearms at napag-alaman ng PNP na kapag-practice sa firing range, paano po nila nakuha? Oo, paano na-procure yung firearms? Online din po ba?
Actually, ma'am, wala po tayong firearms na recover dito. Merong air soap, then mga replica. Apo. Sa Las Piñas area.
So merong sabi nyo nga, replicas. So may role-playing talaga
Yes, ma'am.
gamit
Opo.
yung airsoft at saka ibang replica ng firearms
Yes,
na yon. Alright, salamat po, Colonel. So, whether PNP, ACG pa rin or CICC ulit, ano? How does the abuse take place? Pwede nyo bang i-walk through ang komiteng ito? Sa Roblox ba lahat nangyayari or dun nagsisimula and then later ima-migrate sa ibang mga platforms?
Good morning, Your Honors. Ma'am, there are two forms of abuses that happens in gaming both po. In gaming platforms in general, we can say that one is the abuse that happens when it comes to the game itself, the content itself. So whether the contents are violent, that are not age appropriate, or they contain sexual materials, these are the abuses that happen. And then there's the second part of the abuse. Doon ho yung sasabi ng chair na yung grooming na nangyayari where they are groomed to, kung halimbawa naglalaro madalas ng mga violent games na yan, tinatarget itong mga batang to para naman ilipat sa ibang platform, messaging platform, doon naman ini-indoctrinate, tinuturoan paano mag-commit ng violence, or if they see the children that are active when it comes to adult contents, doon naman nangyayari yung mga usaik-sisaim cases naman ho natin. So these are the two forms of abuses that CICC has monitored during on these platforms po. So one can be remedied by content regulation by the platforms itself. But again, I think there is need for government intervention when it comes to the second form of abuse, when it comes to grooming and yung naililipat sa mga ibang platforms yung mga batan to. Thank you, Your Honors.
Thank you, Yusek. Yes, Senator Amy.
Yes, nasabi mo na kinakailangan ng government intervention. We were given to understand that on April 7, the ICT was all set to ban Roblox. Is that correct? Pero nagkausap kayo and that in fact Roblox is now going to churn out facial recognition, all kinds of IDs, age segmented versions for kids, etc. Is that correct?
Yes, Yusek Sara, please to reiterate
Yusek, please.
about the meeting.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, Senator Marcos. Yes, I'm confirming that initially, Secretary Aguda, in behalf of the ICT, has announced the supposed ban of roadblocks. They have reached out, the ICT has reached out to roadblocks to inform them of this ban, and the executive committee of roadblocks who are present online flew in the Philippines to have a meeting with the secretary and our team last April 7. This happened, Your Honor, after the ICT had a stakeholders meeting in our headquarters with representatives of the youth sector, children, other government agencies that happened the week prior. In that meeting with the DICT, the executives committed, as you had said, Your Honor, to have the safety measures in place and announced globally this week. The most significant of the announcements there, Your Honor, is automatic ban in the messaging app, which they have already implemented, and
Automatic ban of what?
of the messaging of the chat.
Sorry, I'm confused. What are they banning?
The chat function in the Roblox app.
No chats at all.
No chats at all, Your Honor.
Oh, is that correct?
Yes.
Banning the chat mode?
Yes.
Okay.
So they have done
Is
that.
that universal or only in the Philippines?
It's universal, Your Honor, only for 9 years old and below.
So it's entirely banned under 9 years. Okay. Please proceed.
Yeah. Your Honor, for the 9 to 15 years old,
Okay.
and I would like the Roblox executives to correct me if I'm wrong. From 9 to 15 years old, they informed us that it's conditional, and
Conditioned upon what?
age verification. Age verification, Your Honor. and parental controls, Your Honor.
Yes, but anyone between 9 to 15 is allowed to chat or not? What are they going to verify? Kasi sabi mo, 9 to 15, pasok na sila dyan sa chat. So if that's the case, what's the condition?
Your Honor, we were informed that it's conditioned on parental consent and proper age verification.
Senator Amy, maybe we can ask
Yes,
the
perhaps
Roblox
I was going to
resource
ask you to
persons.
recognize those who are on
Yes.
Zoom.
So,
Thank you,
Ms.
Your Honor.
Calaco, would you like to chime in on this? What exactly are the commitments being made initially by Roblox regarding these safeguards?
Thank you, Chairperson. May I read some prepared remarks to establish
Maybe just
what we are
maybe just up the volume.
Yes,
Sorry.
please. Could you increase your volume? We can not hear you very well.
Okay.
And
Is that
before
better?
your statement, which the chair will allow you to read, could you please just initially answer the questions at bar at present, unless that's the main content of your prepared statement, what you're committing, at least to government, to do.
It is, Chairperson.
All right. How long is your prepared statement?
2 minutes.
Yes, please proceed.
Okay. Madam Chairperson, distinguished members of the committee, good morning. My name is Nikki Jackson Colasso, and I am Vice President and Global Head of Public Policy at Roblox. And I'm joined here today by my colleague, Edward Palmieri, who is Senior Director of Public Policy and Interim Head of Asia Pacific. I'd like to thank all of you for the opportunity to appear here today. Our mission in the Philippines remains clear: to provide a safe, transparent, and innovative digital environment for all Filipinos. And we recognize that with our growth comes a profound responsibility to protect young and the most vulnerable users. I'm here today not just to provide an overview of some of the questions that you've asked already, but also to share a fundamental shift in how we're approaching safety. Just yesterday, as some of you referenced earlier, we announced a global overhaul of our safety systems with the introduction of Roblox Kids Mode and Roblox Select Mode. These updates represent a transition to a fully safety by default model, and by early June, we will move away from the one-size-fits-all approach that we have had historically, and instead implement a tiered system that automatically aligns a user's experience with their developmental stage. Specifically, in response to some of your questions, we are introducing 1, Roblox Kids for ages 5 through 8. These accounts will have communication disabled by default and will be restricted to a vetted catalog of games that have passed a rigorous multi-step screening process. 2, Roblox Select accounts for ages 9 to 15. These accounts offer age-appropriate flexibility while maintaining strict guardrails on content maturity. Of note, children ages 9 to 15 will be able to chat, but the chat will be filtered, and they can only chat with people in similar age groups. Although if their parents want to authorize additional users as trusted friends, they're able to do that. But it is a more limited chat functionality. We announced enhanced parental controls, giving Filipino parents unprecedented visibility, allowing them to block specific games or experiences or approve others that they may feel are developmentally appropriate for their children, as well as creator accountability. So for a game to reach any of the younger audiences that I'm mentioning right now, they will have to go undergo full ID verification and maintain higher security standards. We want to assure you that we do understand the unique cultural and social values of the Philippines. Just last week, as some of you have mentioned, our team was on the ground meeting with many of you, and we look forward to continuing that engagement. These global updates are designed to complement those local efforts and to ensure that the internet remains a space for learning and creativity rather than one for risk. And we believe that by integrating world-class age check technology and AI-driven moderation, we hope to set a new standard for platform accountability. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Colaco. Yes, Senator Amy.
Yes, thank you very much, Chairwoman. May I ask, have any of these efforts been piloted elsewhere in the world? The Roblox for kids, the 9 to 15 that's limited and restricted to same age group and parental consent? Have they been piloted elsewhere in the world?
Senator, we just announced these changes yesterday. They will be implemented in the coming weeks, and we will begin a global rollout. So there won't be a pilot, but there will be a slow rollout so that those changes can propagate. I will mention that the age check technology that I referenced, the facial age estimation, which allows us to understand how old a child is for the purposes of preventing stranger interaction, we have rolled out, we began rolling that out last fall. So that is well beyond pilot stage. That is implementation stage.
So the face verification has been tried and tested elsewhere?
Yes, Senator.
Yes. The reason I'm asking is, of course, the rank skepticism we have about Roblox parental control tools. You've been very unsuccessful in the past, and there have been huge complaints from many, many parents that the moderation policies, the guardrails, the safeguards that you established are so complex and so difficult to access that there were no roadblocks at all. Are they still as complicated? That's the reason I'm asking if any of this has been tested. Whereas we have your promise and we believe your sincere effort, the reality is you haven't been very successful in the past.
Yeah, Senator, thank you for that feedback. Our goal is to ensure that parents have a seamless experience when they're using parental controls. I'm a mother, and I know how difficult this is. So we want to make sure that those parental controls are easy to use. And I believe over the last 18 months in particular, we have significantly simplified parental controls. So I'm optimistic that the answer to your question is yes. I also want to assure you that we do keep in mind that some parents, through no fault of their own or through no lack of interest, are simply unable to manage parental controls. Sometimes they don't have the time, or the tools seem complicated. We want to ensure that the default experience for children.
Yes,
so
precisely.
Even if a parent,
Yes, because
Yeah.
in the past your safeguards were hardly intuitive, impossible to navigate, and there was
Yeah.
simply no way to access them. How are we assured that this time it will be different? Has USEC season in the ICT, have you tried these new Roblox for kids, the 9 to 15 filtering, etc.? Have you tried the face recognition? Does it work? At least here in the Philippines.
Your Honor, if I may pass it to
Yes, Yusek Sara.
to Yusek Aboy.
Yusek
Thank you.
Paraiso.
So ang ibig sabihin, yung DICT, hindi niyo sinubukan. Ang
Your-
CICC ang tinuturo niyo eh.
Your Honor, we have, but they are actually an attached agency under us. That's why.
I
Yeah,
realize
thank you.
that, but these are matters of
Yes, ma'am.
intense IT concern that by right you should also try.
Yes, Your Honor.
It's fun anyway.
It is.
Please go ahead, Yusek.
With the permission of the chair. Yes,
Yusek.
Madam Chair, we have tried and we have extensively researched all the parental consents, the parental controls of roadblocks, and that's why we came up with the report and recommendation that it's simply not enough, especially with the Philippine setting. We have disclosed this, and
Sorry,
we have
what's not enough?
the parental controls that were already set by roadblocks.
Yung dati.
Yung
luma.
dati po.
Yung dati hopeless. Sinubukan ko eh. Ang hirap-hirap pumasok, hardly seamless, yung interface impossible, napaka-komplikado.
Yes. And then with the age verification, we seem to have a problem when it comes to the facial recognition that is being used by roadblocks as their basis for age verification.
Okay, the Roblox Vice President is telling us that we've moved forward and it's much better now and the face verification has been utilized. Nasubukan na ba ninyo, Yusek?
Yes po. And
Is
then
it really new and improved?
No, I think they rolled out this in
Yesterday?
they rolled those out last fall in the States. So
Kaya
this
nga.
has
Pero does it work? Sinubukan ba ninyo?
it has its loopholes, Madam Chair. It has its loopholes. We
Ouch.
were able to register
What
adults
are the
as kids.
loopholes? I heard the face recognition is not infallible.
Yes, Miss. Yeah. Yes, Madam
How bad
Chair.
is it? I mean,
I-
50%, 70%? Let's give it a grade.
Again, Madam Chair, we were able to register adults as kids, and they were able to talk as kids based on the parameters set by the safe and the guardrails set by
Yung
Roblox.
7 years old, nakalusot eh.
I
Sa amin,
agree,
sa
Madam.
Ilocos.
I
Kaya
agree,
alam ko
Madam
hindi
Chair.
totoo eh.
I agree, Madam Chair. That's why one of the recommendations of CICC and the ICT was to attach the facial, because from what I heard from Roadblocks, and we do appreciate
effort.
the efforts,
Yes,
that there
sure.
would be full ID verification, and our recommendation is that full ID verification, when it comes to the Philippine setting, be tied up to our PhilSys system as our single source of truth, Madam Chair.
Yeah, you have to forgive us, Roblox, for being paranoid. We have to be given our nasty history of cyber pornography of children. That being the case, we have to tighten these face identification. So in addition, have we given Roblox measurable and time-bound deliverables? You were all set to ban them?
Yes.
And then, have you given them a time frame to prove otherwise and hold off the ban? Meron bang time frame? 1 quarter, 3 months, ganyan? Kasi sa ngayon, lusot yung face verification at saka yung peer-to-peer, nabobola rin daw eh. Hindi daw totoo. Yung filtering na parehong edad.
Yes,
Yusek
Your
Sara.
Honor.
Paano, Yusek?
Yes, Your Honor.
May deadline ba sila
In
to
fact-
prove themselves?
Yes, Your Honor. The first time frame is to actually implement it starting this week because we
Kaya nga,
had the
pero
meeting.
hanggang kailan? May cut-off. Kasi hindi po pwede na palulusutin yung kay Colonel Desiderio. Hindi yan forever. Bigyan na nga natin ng mga safeguard. Okay lang. Subukan natin. Ilang buwan. Okay lang. Pero matapos yon, kailangan we have to take action.
Yeah.
Otherwise, mag-meeting na naman chairwoman ko.
Yes, Your Honor. Certainly, we just don't want to have continuous meetings with them. So, aside from the launch this week, they are
So
actually...
what's the deadline? Bigyan natin ng deadline.
Madam Chair,
Ayusin
Para
nila
isa.
yung mga kapalpakan, di ba?
with the permission of the chair. Yes, Madam Chair. Initially, they were set to be banned April 10, but when we had that meeting with them, they committed, and they were, to be honest, it was a very fruitful meeting. They committed to all the requests of the CICC and the ICT. First is to have a regional
yes, but
office
the
here.
road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yes,
Senator
Madam Chair.
Amy, I just would like to pick up on what Yusek Paraiso mentioned. That was going to be one of my questions towards the close of this hearing.
Yes, Madam
Would
Chair.
it be better for platforms like Roblox to actually have offices and representatives in country? And then I would go back to Roblox. Since you mentioned, Yusek, that they committed to establish an office here. If that is firm, and what's the time frame for that?
To answer the first question, yes. Not only with Roblox, but with any other platforms, it would be best to have regional or representative offices here for many purposes. First and foremost is a reporting mechanism where we can talk to them, have them ban illegal,
Yusek, with all due
unlawful-
respect,
Yes, Madam Chair.
having an outpost in the Philippines does not prevent them from causing mayhem from overseas. We already heard from Colonel Desiderio, ang nag-report foreign law enforcement and anti-terrorism group. So, nagagawa pa rin yan sa abroad. Kasi digital nga to eh, hindi naman to analog na kailangan ng headquarters.
I agree, Madam Chair, but
Pero tama ka, I mean, as the chairwoman said, may pagre-reklamuhan.
I agree, Madam Chair, and
So,
we recognize the fact that
Would the CICC and the ICT be open to establishing a 3-month deadline, for example, for these changes?
Maybe
For,
shorter, Madam Chair.
Sorry?
maybe shorter, Madam Chair.
Shorter,
Ayun pala,
Madam
shorter.
Chair.
O di better for us. I'm being liberal here as a game developer.
Yeah. Madam Chair,
Kayo, how
And
short?
what is that shorter time frame?
Bigyan ninyo kami ng shorter para hindi naman tayo nag-aaksaya ng panahon ng PNP at iba pa.
Madam Chair, they committed that they would be implementing and they would be providing us with the roadmap this week. So if past this week and by next week there would be no clear roadmap and no clear commitment.
No. I'm not talking about only the roadmap policy, the changes announced by Roblox. What I'm talking about is that there are deficiencies even with the changes provided. So I am saying 3 months, ayusin nila within that period. Or shorter, as you said. So it's not just the roadmap, it's the actual workings of those parental controls that in the past never worked.
So if
Hindi ba dapat i-revise yan? We are already agreed that the filtering for the 9 to 15 and the face recognition is not infallible. That is, it has in fact been cracked by many kids here in the Philippines. Yung face recognition, parang they were able to do that, di ba?
So from a policy standpoint and from a technical standpoint, 3 months would be enough, Madam Chair,
That's
for
what
them
I'm
to
saying.
from
Kaya
for the
within 3 months,
implementation.
dapat naayos na yung sinasabi natin.
Yes, Madam Chair.
So, shall we put the 3 months down?
We agree, Madam Chair.
Yung isa pa, ano yung measurable? Di ba? Dapat time-bound and measurable change, di ba? What's measurable? Magre-report ba yung mga parents? How do we know it's working? Magre-report ba sa PNP? Wala nang reklamo? How do we measure this? It's always an issue. Yeah, USEC season. Otherwise, kalokohan lang tong meeting, di ba? Kapag there are no real changes. Yes, USEC season, please.
Yes, Your Honor. For measurable, definitely, we requested for them to report to us and the PNP in the technical changes that they have implemented.
Yes,
And
reporting is fine, but will they implement the changes we're requesting, for example?
they are required to implement it, Your Honor. In addition to the technical
So
change.
magre-report sila on a weekly basis? O tayo magre-report at magre-reklamo sa kanila ng weekly? Pati yung mga parents' complaints, pati yung mga nasasagap ng pulis, lahat ba yan ire-report? Dapat kasi measurable to eh.
Yusek Paraiso.
With the permission of the Chair, Madam Chair. Yes, there are measurable KPIs that we can implement. First is the establishment of a representative office. Second is when would they be able to implement and integrate the PhilSys system into their age verification.
Excuse me, Yusek Paraiso. So, Ms. Calaco, by when will Roblox be establishing an office here in the Philippines?
Senator, I'm not in a position tonight to address that simply because right now Roblox is a fraction of the size of some of the other companies. And right now we don't have representative offices almost anywhere outside the US. So it would be something I would need to speak about with other members of the team at Roblox, and we certainly can continue that conversation.
But at least in principle, would it be possible that such an office be established within the 1 quarter time frame we're talking about for the implementation of the reforms that you're announcing?
Unfortunately, I'm unable to answer that only because I don't know what is operationally involved in establishing an office. So I would have to talk to members of our legal team and others in our localization team.
All right, fair
Yes.
enough. But the committee will get back to Roblox on that
Yes.
because though, as you say, you have a complement of people smaller than other online platforms. But it seems by the hearing so far, Roblox is accounting for an inordinate number of the cases that we are concerned about. So it might really be worth your while to actually establish an office in country as other entities like Facebook Meta are doing. Yes, Yusek Paraiso.
If I may.
Yes, Senator Amy.
Thank you very much to Roblox. And I've been involved with many startups in the past. I know how meager your staff is, a full-blown industry. So if you could just please give us special attention and perhaps assign a staff member, even in your own office, just to check in with us from time to time and someone that we can complain to. Is that possible?
Senator and Chairperson, I just want to reiterate, yes, we absolutely
Yes,
agree
please.
with that. In fact, we wholeheartedly agree with that. In fact, we've recently moved to a regional model where we're starting to branch out so we have more local time zone support for the region, including the Philippines. And additionally, we're communicating 24/7 resources to make sure that law enforcement and other representatives connected to CICC will have 24/7 access directly to Roblox personnel to address any concerns you have, because we agree we want to make sure that there's strong partnership, and we want to make sure we're available regardless of where those people may be physically located.
Speaking of local time zones, I recall in the opening statement of Ms. Calaco, you said that the reforms you're announcing and will be implemented represent a fundamental shift, a global overhaul of safety systems, and now local zones. Is this because, aside from the Philippines, Roblox has also had problems? For example, we've been reading about cases in Singapore, in Germany, even in the United States. Is it in response to those problems in different countries around the world that it's actually a global overhaul that you've just announced?
Yes, Senator, it is a global overhaul. I think of it as a natural evolution. Roblox has gotten much bigger over time. And as many platforms grow, of course, we see more scrutiny on them. We also know that technology has changed. So the facial age estimation tool that we're talking about, that technology is a newer technology, and we have been able to use that to prevent unwanted chat between different groups. We're now using it for content. So I think it's less about responding to the world and more a natural evolution of our product.
Thank you very
And
much, VP
yes, Senator
Calaco.
Amy.
Sorry.
No.
Thank you very much, VP
Before
Calaco,
I continue and hand over
sorry.
back to Senator Amy,
Sorry.
before I continue with the PNP and CICC, just one more follow-up at this point, Ms. Calaco. In your statement, you also mentioned safety by default. With other platforms, we've been hearing safety by design. Are these one and the same? Are they different from each other? And if so, why the difference in the term safety by default? And what's the substantive difference in terms of the concept and the operationalization?
I think they're similar, Senator. Safety by design means that when you are building a product, you are working with your product and engineering teams to make sure that you're never retrofitting for safety, that safety is always part of the inception and the design process. To that, we also take that philosophy and that approach. We are adding the default status because we want parents to have comfort that even if they couldn't go in and change any settings, that their child would have the safest experience possible for a given age.
Thank you, Ms. Calaco. Senator Amy?
Sorry, Madam Chair, if I may add to that discussion. In my involvement with the fight against cyber pornography, the reality is safety by default implied that a violation had first to occur, and the default mode would be to clamp it down, and safety would finally occur. However, safety by design was embedded at the outset, so that was the understanding back in the day. But I'm very, very grateful to Roblox, to VP Calaco, being a mom, like you said, as we are. And we do hope that you can provide us the name of the staffer or complaint desk as soon as possible, because we would like to get this up and running. Like I said earlier, I was a very early fangirl of Roblox, given that you provided an opportunity to creatives to make up their own universe and upload a game that was actually playable. So that was quite thrilling, at least in the beginning, until these horror stories proliferated. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Amy. Isa pang follow-up at this point kay Yusek Paraiso. Bukod dun sa grooming for violent extremism, ano pang ibang klaseng mga unlawful o dangerous conversations ang nangyayari sa mga bata dito sa platform ng Roblox?
So, Madam Chair, as we have mentioned and we have documented, and we're very keen on documenting these. Not only grooming is occurred here, but also the children are exposed to sexual and mature contents in the platform, thus giving and paving the way for OSAIC-CSIM cases to be proliferated in the platform, Madam Chairs. So, and again, there's extremism, and sometimes the chats are being used to conduct illicit criminal activities. And to be fair to Roblox, I don't think it's only peculiar to Roblox. I think every game or every that has a chat function would be susceptible to this, that they are being used to mask illegal transactions for guns, for firearms trades, for drugs trades. So it's not peculiar only to Roblox, but I think it's best that we let them know that these are also happening in the platform, Madam Chair. And to add to the KPIs that Senator Amy
Yes,
was
that's
mentioning.
right. Yung KPI kasi, yun ang importante, di ba? So, unang-una, nagkasundo tayo 3 buwan.
Yes,
Okay?
Madam
So,
Chair.
probation period, ika nga.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Ikalawa, talagang nangako sila. They promised us that we have someone to call or to complain to once we receive a police report, a parent complaint, etc. So, I hope they can give us special attention, like I said earlier, because we've had so much trouble with cyber in the past and children. So, yung ikalawa, kung sinong tatawagan. Yung ikatlo, yung binanggit mo kanina, Yusek, yung sinabi mo, yung KPIs, along that 3-month period, anong mangyayari ng mga deliverable?
So, Madam Chair, again, and to be fair to when we spoke with Edward and his team when they were here in the Philippines, they already named the person that we can contact with 24/7 for 2 particular reporting mechanisms. One is to report the content-based violations, if it's age inappropriate, their sexual content. And second, when it comes to threat actors that the PNP and the law enforcement agencies have identified, we would be able to get the credentials of these persons and go after them. So if they're here in the Philippines or if they're abroad, then maybe we can utilize some of the functions, cross-country functions that we can do to go after these criminals.
Yes, that's fine for local incidents. Pero kapag glitches na ng system at may kakulangan, katulad nung sinabi mo nga, nakakalusot sa face identification, dapat sila na, di ba?
Tama, Madam Chair.
Okay, so fourthly, siguro, ang masasabi ko siguro, kung meron tayong time-bound, meron tayong taon tatakbuhan, meron tayong KPI, yung ikaapat siguro, what are the sanctions? Anong parusa? Within that 3-month period, palpak. Anong gagawin? We will extend the 3-month period for them to rectify systems, or we will not extend. There have to be sanctions, ano? Are we going to extend that? Or because we admit the inability to regulate this Roblox and such other games, we'll just shut it down. I'm open also to any possibility. Nasa sa inyo, kayo expert eh.
Madam Chair, when we proposed the ban, it's because we weren't able to talk to Roblox. And to CICC, and when we reviewed this, since they're not an entity within the Philippines, they're not entitled to the protection of our laws either, Madam Chair. So that's why we went for the ban. And then they came to us, they were able to talk to us, and then they committed. But the execution of that ban is bound by their commitment and by their implementation of those
Yun na nga.
commitments, Madam Chair.
No,
So,
I think it's
Understood, but
important to reiterate that, Yusek Paraiso.
Yeah.
The suspension of the implementation of a ban is conditional
Yes,
on their
Madam Chair.
compliance. So,
Yes, Madam Chair.
failing that, the ban could still be implemented.
and
in the
into our
future.
mind,
Kasi parang probation period yung sinasabing 3 months, di ba? Kung magde-deliver sila ng yung KPI, kontento tayo, tapos pati yung systemic changes na undertake naman. Tapos yung yun nga, yung sanctions. Kasi as a general rule, di ba, meron tayong, una, fair warning. Kapag may fair warning, ayan, sasabihan sila, oh, may mga complaint. Tapos may, the usual, notice of takedown, di ba?
Yes.
Magte-takedown tayo, sasabihin muna natin, hey, you better get your act together. 1 month left and it's still the same. Parang ganon, di ba? Meron ba tayong sistema niyan? Tapos finally, yung takedown, na
So-
talagang ibablock na yan. So let's understand what will happen within that period of 3 months.
So with there no being clear regulations when it comes to entities outside the Philippines, the only option that we
Yes,
have
but
really is to
we can simply say that
Yes.
we're banning it, 'di ba?
That's
Kaya
the ultimate,
nga, you're
sanction.
saying no, pero they're very cooperative. They volunteered to change so many things. They provided us contacts. That being the case, there's room to negotiate and to discuss suspensions or other preliminary actions. Yun lang sinasabi ko. We don't like taking down stuff like this. As I said, I admit I have game dev in my heart. So, I'm trying to save something. But kung hindi talagang kaya i-regulate, talagang masususpenso yan. Hindi talaga pwede.
And additionally, Yusek Paraiso, what enforcement mechanisms are available if and while gaming platforms are still purely foreign-based?
So again, that's the only available option for us. Then when we talk with the telcos, our friends with the telcos, we're ready to implement the ban within the Philippine internet sphere, Madam Chair. Effective ban of these platforms, whether they're web-based or app-based. And I agree with the Honorable Senator Amy Marcos that any actions prior to the banning would be subject to an agreement and a commitment by both the government and the platforms, Madam Chair. But ultimately, again, the power to limit them or to exclude them from the Philippine sphere is an option that's available to us, Madam Chair. But again, I agree that subject to the agreement between Roblox and the Philippines, there can be warnings first and there can be measurable KPIs to tell them that they are failing with their commitments, Madam Chair.
Last na lang ha. So, anong example, halimbawa, can you give an example of inaction or action that would result in banning after that 3-month period? Or even before that 3-month period?
Madam Chair,
Example lang, para may alam kami ng PNP, alam namin kung ano yung grounds at alam rin ng telco para walang sisihan.
so right
What
now,
are the grounds? Let's establish them at the outset.
So, Madam Chair, right now, what is available to us is that reporting mechanism with Roadblocks kasi hindi pa natin alam kung kailan sila mag-establish ng office or when they would integrate the field system. But right now, we have that reporting mechanism. And if that reporting mechanism fails, for example, we report something, they fail to take action, or we subpoena someone and they fail to give us the credentials of that threat actor or that criminal online using their platform, then that's a failure of their commitment with the Philippine government. And that can be the
May
grounds.
legal naman ng DICT, di ba?
Yes, Your
Diba?
Honor.
Di ba legal ka naman, Yusek?
Yes, I'm the
Season?
head of legal,
Can you
Your
just
Honor.
establish some grounds? And such other acts, syempre may catch-all sa huli, pero in such other acts na lang. Pero you put there na nga yung failure to ganyan, to take action, failure to contact, failure to, to revise systems, etc., that are deemed inadequate. Pakilista na lang para klaro sa atin lahat, lalo na sa PNP, kung ano yung mali at tama at hindi masabit yung telco natin at walang sisihan para klaro.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, Your Honor. Madam Chair, if I may
Thank
just
you.
add.
Yes,
Senator
pakisubmit
Amy.
na lang nun.
Yes,
Tapos yung kung may rules tungkol sa 3 months at saka yung KPI, tapos yung sanctions, lista na lang natin lahat para may maayos tayong circular.
Yes, Your Honor. So, Madam Chair and Senator Amy, as head of the legal of the ICT, we commit to provide this document within 2 weeks, Your Honor. Within the end of this week, Your Honor. Moreover, may I just emphasize that we are already establishing the communications pipeline with Roadblocks this week, Your Honor. So the green lane, as well as the assigned person to be reporting to us and to CICC, as well as to the PNP, will be determined within the week, Your Honor, and we will be reporting to the committee accordingly.
And in response to your compliance directive, they have submitted their 4 reforms in writing already?
They have, Your Honor, and I think there will be. They have.
Or not yet?
The statement pa lang.
Just the statement.
I stand corrected. They have submitted their statement and the bullet points, but we will be asking them for it in writing, Your Honor.
And then the department can in turn attach the details of what will be required of them, beginning with this first quarter, succeeding quarter of this year.
Yes, Madam Chair.
All right.
May I
Thank
request,
you.
Madam
Yes,
Chair,
Senator
also
Amy.
that we be provided with the statement and opening of VP Calaco. We weren't quite able to absorb all the changes she enumerated.
Yes,
And,
Ms. Calaco,
would
please
like
do that.
to hold them to their promise. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Amy. And yes, Ms. Calaco, you want to interject? You have your hand up.
Hello. I just wanted to add that we absolutely agree with the commitment to formalize strong communications with DICT and CICC to make sure that, one, we're aligned on where our progress stands with the product enhancements that we announced yesterday. Additionally, our sincere hope is that well in advance of any concerns that get to the point where you feel like banning is required, that well in advance of that, we have been in communications, we can address any of those concerns promptly and swiftly. So that is our sincere hope and commitment. And in addition to the staff person that we've got in the region from a time zone perspective, we also will follow up with the contact information for 24/7 resources. That way, well before anything gets out of hand, we can make sure that we're in tight communication and address any concerns.
Thank you. The committee appreciates the communication you've had so far, both with the DICT, CICC, and the Philippine National Police. But we also want to be satisfied in our legislative work that those commitments, those new ways of working of Roblox moving forward together with the Philippine regulators will be institutionalized in our policies or in the law that we are contemplating to formulate. So thank you so much so far. Please stay on because the chair will have, and maybe other colleagues will have questions for you a little later. Just to continue with Colonel Desiderio at this point, chinek nyo rin po ba yung viewing history ng mga batang iyon, yung 12 kids so far na rescue ninyo? Yung viewing history nila sa YouTube, at yung kung may query history sila sa ChatGPT at pati sa Gemini?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, sa overall, how it works, o paano nangyayari ito, ma'am, we have this grooming activity, we have the groomer, and we have the groomee as a target. So most of the victim, ma'am, they have yung untethered access to the internet. So, siguro 5 hours up. They are chronically online, we call them. And those who want connection, or some are minimal parental supervision. So ito yung mga easy targets for the groomer. And the modus of this groomer, ito yung mga vulnerable online targets, mga victim. Then they groom victims to commit violence and make ruthless, some extortion. So paano nangyayari extortion? Kaya nga yung chat message with Roblox, lumilipat sila ng other social media platform like Telegram, Messenger. So doon ako on Discord. Then andun din yung to influence them on the violence. Then some are we call this radicalization and recruitment. So may kami tinatawag din na ini-influence din to mga nag-groom, ma'am, to ng self-mutilation, then self-harm, we call swatting. Ito yung deliberate and malicious false reporting of emergency situation like bomb threats, murders, active shooters. So pag nag-groom na siya, then some they also promote rape and kidnapping or murder. So yung ating mga materials na nakuha nga, ma'am, mga replica of ng mga air soap, like sa Las Piñas, no? Las Piñas, nakakuha tayo ng ilang replicas of firearms doon, mga AK-47, M4, so a replica, then air soap. Then meron din tinatawag ng mga gore content. So these are yung mga like itong website featuring gore content, yung mga www.watchpeopledie.tv. So ito yung mga site na pinupuntahan ng itong mga nag-groom. So pinapakita rito yung mga bombings, murder, dismemberment or decapitation, mga graphic war and conflict footage, mga terrorist propaganda also, mass casualty events, political assassination, then they spread online pass, no, sa ating mga social messaging platforms. So ito yung mga dedicated core sites na binibigay sa kanila during sa message sa message ng Roblox. Yun lang, ma'am.
Yun lang, pero napakarami po. Yung sinabi niyong chronically online, parang sakit na rin eh. Kailangan may prevention at kailangan may cure. Kahit yung, yes. Kahit yung binanggit niyong radicalization, so mukhang may indications ng deep indoctrination. Colonel, so para matulungan din yung ating mga magulang, ano yung typical script o kaya style o entrada ng mga groomers na ito sa mga batang online sa Roblox at ibang platforms?
Nag-observe muna sila, ma'am. Lalo yung mga nakikita nila yung mga users natin, mga minors na nagbababad nga online. So ito yung mga target nila agad, potential target. And doon sa cases natin, ma'am, dito sa na-rescue natin, yung account is, ang ginamit account ng parent niya. Yung isa yun, ang dalawa.
Ang tanong yata, paano lang inaakit yung bata? Meron bang binibigay? Di ba parang yung physical predator, di ba? Nagbibigay ng candy, magbibigay ng laruan. Paano lang inaakit yung bata online?
Actually, ma'am, tinitingnan nila yung initial conversation muna. So, asking mga basic question na yung greetings, then mga basic na ginagawa mo, everything. So, doon pa lang sa observation na you are nag-i-stay yung ating victim na mga 5 to 8 hours. Doon na yun, ma'am, nag-i-start ang conversation. So, tinitingnan yung interest ng bata. So, I think siguro ma'am makakapag-share din na we have our officer na talagang involved dito sa investigation nitong mga cases na to. So I may turn over you ma'am kay sa ating officer.
Anong pangalan po nila?
Sorry.
Ma'am, lang po muna, our officer from the CPIU.
All right, so nire-request nyo po na hindi muna sabihin yung identity nila. All right.
We have ongoing cases, ma'am, kasi ninahandle ngayon 7 cases. And
Yeah.
mamaya, ma'am, we will request the Roblox management, yung mga need din ng PNP-ACG.
All right. So, ma'am, speaking for Colonel Desiderio, please proceed.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Philippine National Police Anti-Cybercrime Group, referencing with the past rescue operations that we had, we observed that most of the victims have untethered internet connection, or yung screen time po nila is napakahaba, meaning yung parental guidance po nila when it comes to the gadget access is very limited. I mean, hindi ho sila nasa sanction agad ng parents natin. That's why ito ho yung kinakapitalize ng mga groomers nila. And also the need of these children to belong. So since yung age po kasi nila from 12 years old to 15 years old, ito po kasi yung time na nagsisik sila ng belongingness and sense of individuality. So ito po yung kinakapitalize ng mga groomers para ma-hook in sila doon sa relationship. And also the hate that they have in themselves to their families, to their bullies sa school, ito din po yung wine-weaponize nila to brew hate and anger. So once na nabuo na ho nila, or yung hate nila sa sarili nila is na-establish na nila, i-empower ho yun ng groomer. So making them, telling them that I am here with you, you have a friend in me, na pwede mong pagsabihan 24/7. So ginagawa siyang substitute po sa real friends saka ho families. So ang ginagawa ho ng groomer, isasabihin niya sa'yo, pwede mong sabihin sa akin everything.
Salamat po, ma'am. Very concerning talaga. May malalim na kinalaman din ito sa child psychology and paano ito sinasamantala ng mga groomers at iba pang malign actors. Could we also ask Deep Web Connect kung ano po yung insights nyo sa mga red flags na dapat pagbantayan ng mga magulang para sa mga anak na active sa Roblox at ibang platforms? Mr. Talatala.
Okay. Thank you po, Madam Chair. So based on the monitoring of the Deep Web Connect, one of the patterns that we observe is the existence of role-playing groups in Facebook. So one of the most concerning findings involved is the use of role-playing group chats as structured environments for grooming. So during our monitoring, we have found different posts inviting for clans or groups so that they will be able to communicate freely. Bukod po dun sa Roblox na medyo restricted, mas nakapag-interact po kasi sila kapag ginagamit nila yung Meta or Facebook.
So again, Mr. Talatala at Comsec, kailangan makadalo ang Facebook Meta sa susunod na pagdinig. Paulit-ulit silang nababanggit din. Please proceed, Mr. Talatala.
Okay po. So in one documented cases, a participant manipulated a child using in-game resources such as virtual currency, yung tinatawag po nating Roblox. Yun po yung ginagamit to encourage or to lure yung mga minors po na kumbaga mahikayat po nila or makuha nila yung loob ng ating mga kabataan po. So these incentives were used to influence behaviors without the child fully understanding the implications, demonstrating how digital assets can be used as a tool of manipulation. Additionally, the presence of children operating gaming-related accounts that contain sexualized comments or cyberbullying interactions without further compound the risk. These environments normalize harmful behavior and lower the threshold for exploitation. So mas na lumalala po yung issue because even yung mga minors, they are capable of creating games na after a week naman po ay nababan, but as of now, napakadali po talagang gumawa ng mga ganong games sa Roblox na pwede pong ma-exploit ng mga perpetrators po natin. So yun po yung one of our findings. And if I may...
Before you continue po, binanggit nyo yung clans, mga role-playing groups. Bakit particularly useful sila at nagagamit ng mga groomers?
Because through the role-playing groups po, mas naka-interact yung mga bata and even adults. Kumbaga, na mafe-feel ng mga bata, naka-edad nila yung mga kausap nila. Wala pong barriers kasi hindi po nila gamit yung totoong identity nila. So, in role-playing groups sa Meta, they use fake names, fake photos of celebrities or other individuals so that makakapag-interact po sila using another person. So, doon po nangyayari yung pinaka-transaction.
So parang yung sinasabi ni Ma'am kanina, kasama ni Colonel Desiderio, walang gap kasi akala nila kaedad nila. Hindi sila galit sa isang mas matanda tulad ng magulang or whatever, mas nakakausap nila. So nakukuha yung tiwala nila.
Yes, ma'am. And napakadali
Please
pong
proceed.
mag-access kasi wala pong restrictions, walang ibang question. Gagawa ka lang po ng account mo at isip ka lang po ng name mo and photos, pwede ka na po makipag-interact sa mga minors. Ganun po siya kadali.
So yung ease of interaction talaga.
Yes po, ma'am.
Na on the other side, ibig sabihin, kulang sa regulation talaga.
Yes po,
Lalo
ma'am.
na kung kailangan dahil may mga harms na nangyayari na rin.
Yes po, ma'am.
Please proceed, Mr. Talatala.
And i-add ko na lang din po, dun po sa na-mention din po ni Colonel Desiderio. So aside, since na-mention po yung about sa replica, since 2016 po, meron po mga pages, Facebook pages, na nag-promote din po or nag-release ng mga manuals for creating weapons or mga DIY weapons. And until now, may mga ganun pa din pong pailan-ilan na nag-e-exist na kung saan na-allow po yung mga minors or mga childrens na gumamit or gumawa ng mga ganong weapons na akala nila ay laro-laro lang or medyo cool kapag ginawa po. So, doon po sila na-expose.
Sa Facebook, isang
Yes
dekada
po.
nang may manual kung paano
Yes po.
gumawa ng firearms?
Yes po, since 2016.
Okay, need I say more? Dapat nandito sila next time.
Yes po, Madam Chair.
Chair,
Maraming salamat, Mr. Talatala. Yes, Senator Amy.
yeah, magtatanong lang ako, sino talaga yung yung National Coordination Center Against Online Sexual Abuse or Exploitation of Children? May head ba nito?
NECMEC.
Yeah, andito
Yes,
ba?
attorney.
Good morning po,
Pagbilao
Senator.
Flores.
I'm the OIC Executive Director po of the Secretariat of the NCC o SAEC-CISAM.
Teka, OIC of the Secretariat.
Yes po. Of the National Coordinating Center Against OSAEC-CISAM po, Madam
So,
Chair,
sino
is a
yung-
coordinating body po.
So,
Multi-agency
pero
body.
nasa Secretariat ka. Pero
Yes
sino
po.
yung head dapat?
The NCC o SAEC-CISAM is chaired by the Department of Justice through the Secretary of Justice and co-chaired by the DSWD through the
I see.
Secretary of the SWD po.
And then, but you derive from which office po?
From the DOJ po.
So
The
you're-
Secretariat po is
Secretariat
an
is-
office of the DOJ.
But bakit OIC ka lang? Pinakialaman,
I'm currently a prosecutor din po.
Oh, so
So-
it's an add-on job?
Yes po.
So it's not full-time. Nakapag-meet na ba itong grupong to?
Yes po, we are
No, not the Secretariat. Has
The NCC
this
po.
actual-
Yung NECMEC,
o
ma'am.
SAEC, has it actually met?
the NCC o SAEC-CISAM po? Or
Yeah, the secretaries involved, the DOJ, the DSWD, nag-meeting na ba yan?
we
Activate na ba to? Kasi parang never ko naririnig.
Yes po,
Sa
we
dinamin ng problema natin sa child exploitation.
yes po, we regularly meet quarterly po.
Teka, secretariat nagmi-meet.
No po, the body po, the coordinating body as a whole.
Since when kayo nag-meet?
As-
Ilan beses na kayo?
Since the NCCO SIM established in 2022,
Correct.
and since I think since 2020, I only came in 2024. So I believe since 2023 or even prior to that, they've been
Pwede
meeting.
lang alamin na lang ninyo kung anong nangyari doon. Kung ilang meeting, anong pinag-usapan sa meeting, ano yung brief minutes sa meeting. Kasi napakahalaga nitong grupong to Napakadaming problemang ganito sa ating bansa. Naging tanyag na tayo, naging number 1 na tayo sa child exploitation. Nakakahiya.
Number 2 na, nothing to be proud of pa rin.
Yes po.
We slid down to tumataginting na number 2. Kaya, yun nga, gusto ko namin malaman kung gaano ka-active to. Kasi kung hindi talaga workable at sobrang dami ng trabaho ng DOJ at DSWD, baka kinakailangan kami sa legislature mag-isip ng panibagong batas o baguhin itong batas para maging effective talaga. Lalo na sa mga IT issues na nangangapa tayong lahat sa DICT, sa CICC, pati yung PNP. Pakibigay lang ng records nito.
Yes po, but we would like to state that it has been actively working po against OSAIC and CSIM, and we just launched the first ever national strategic plan last year, which was drafted by doing nationwide consultation po with a lot of stakeholders. And we are in the process din po of revising the current law on RA 11930. So there's a current pending bills po before the Senate and before Congress
If that's
po.
the case, we're very willing to help. So if you could just update us on the activities of your agency. Ang pakiwari ko, sabog-sabog kasi yung efforts natin. Yung NBI kasama sa International Task Force, nabanggit na yung ATC ng PNP, meron rin DICT, meron rin kayo, meron rin sina Jello sa CWC. So parang nagdududa ako, baka nalulusaw yung ating laban dahil nga kadami-dami natin na labo-labo na. Then naisip ko
Actually,
lang, baka kailangan ng bagong batas. Chair, sorry.
It's all right, Senator Ame. I just wanted to interject to confirm what OIC Executive Director said. Yung NCCO SIM ay naging the past several years isa sa pinaka mahigpit na kapartner ng Senate Committee on Women para pahigpitin yung coordination among all of these agencies. Lalo na dun sa mga issues ng OSAIC, CSIM. So in fact, in follow-up to one of the points Senator Amy was making, yung mga datos na regularly nyo namang furnish sa komite, could I ask, in the past couple of years, mula nung naging OIC-ED kayo, or even in the past 4 years of the existence of NCC OSAIC CSIM, ilan na bang mga kasong ganito ng grooming and other harmful actions against children ang na-monitor ng NCC OSAIC CSIM sa Roblox at sa iba pang mga katulad na gaming platforms?
Madam Chair, with regard to cases filed, so right now, what we are only gathering are OSAIC cases filed, which are also trafficking in persons cases. So for those OSAIC with trafficking in persons nexus, for last year, there were around more than 800 cases filed. But we still feel that this is an underreported cases. We feel that there are more cases than that are actually existing. No, those are cases filed po, not yet convictions. There are several convictions na din po, Senator. I will just try to fetch our data first to be
Yes,
able to
please
give a
just
more
furnish
accurate.
those,
Yes,
in
we will
writing
furnish
to
you
the
with our
committee.
data of how many convictions, how many cases were filed involving OSAIC. But right now, we are working also hard to gather more evidence, not just more cases, not just trafficking in persons cases that are also OSAIC cases, but also OSAIC cases that are not trafficking in persons. So this includes sexual extortion, possession of CSAM, creation of CSAM. So these are data that are not yet being gathered, but we want to gather it to be able to have a more better picture of how prevalent really the issue is in the country.
And do you think, given itong konteksto ng ang daming various offenses pero may underreporting, therefore may marami-rami pero malamang kulang pa ng mga kaso at different stages of prosecution, do you think sapat po yung mga batas natin, sa anti-cybercrime law man yan, anti-OSAIC CSAM law, para i-prevent at i-punish yung mga harms na to?
Yeah, it's not enough. That's why we propose a revision of the law before the Senate and before the Congress, and we really appreciate both the House and the Senate for really pushing for this law, which was also identified as one of the priority bills by the administration. So one of those gaps that we identified that we wish the proposed bill would be able to answer is, of course, more strengthening the role of our internet and financial intermediaries, not just in reporting, but really on detecting and preventing OSAIC and CSAM. And one is of course, the safety by design, also requiring internet intermediaries to have a legal representative in the Philippines. And I think one gap that we still really have to address is currently we don't have regulatory authority over online intermediaries that are based outside the Philippines. So that's why, as mentioned by Yusek Aboy, our go-to remedy is really to immediately ban, because without regulatory authority over these online intermediaries, that's the only action that we can take against them.
Madam Chair, suggestion
Yes,
lang.
Senator
hindi ko
Ami.
alam.
But just
Yes, sorry.
before,
Carry on.
so I was about to say, and that again brings it home very urgently, and I hope and I know that Roblox is hearing the necessity of having in-country representation, so that the Philippine regulatory agencies not just feel but know that they have somewhere to go to for immediate response and action, given that gap between being here in the country and then companies like Roblox being solely abroad. Yes, Senator Amy.
Yes, I was gonna say in the meantime, na yun nga, merong mga pagkukulang, nadadali tayo sa mga foreign managed corporations at wala tayong habol. Should we not start at least a central database so that all these child exploitation cases are available to all the agencies concerned? Habang eto nga, parte-parte tayo sa iba't ibang kaso, napako na si Attorney Flores sa trafficking. Alam naman natin yung PNP, maliban pa sa ATC, ang dami-daming terrorism, sedition, etc. issues, meron pa silang child cybercrime. Tapos tuloy-tuloy yan. Hindi ba pwede mag-central database? Wala bang group chat? Parang nagkukulang ang gobyerno sa GC. Ako na magse-set up para may shared information. Mag-central database lang tayo dun sa mga complaints, sa cases filed, tapos ma-access rin ng iba sa amin, like the Senate Committee on Women. At least makikita natin kung ano na ang pangyayari. In the meantime, na wala pang batas at hindi pa talaga napopondohan, ad interim OIC at iba pa si attorney, hindi ba dapat na mag-central database na muna tayo?
Yusek Sara, hindi po ba meron ng Registry of Child Offenders? Ano no po bang status niyan? And I'm almost sure hindi pa kasama itong mga offenses against children sa mga gaming platforms, but is it a possibility na isama din yon sa registry?
Yes, Your Honor, we have the central registry, but certainly we would like to include, and we will initiate the coordination with them on how we will set it up, Your Honor.
So, ibig sabihin may database, pero syempre kailangan laging nag-evolve yan at nadadagdagan ng mga datos related to new offenses that we learn of against children.
Yes, Madam
Pero Chair, puro offender
Yes,
lang yan.
Senator Amy.
Ibig sabihin, convicted felons na yan. At ang nakikita ko sa batas, kasi sa USAIC batas, naalala ko may central database requirement nasa section 30, na talagang mag-sharing. Pero sa pakikinig sa inyo, mukhang wala. So, napakadali naman gumawa ng central database. Kahit GC lang ang simulan yan. Kahit chismisan lang sa umpisa. Kahit hindi pa magbigay ng pangalan. Nagagawa ng bata, di natin nagawa. Gawin na natin. para at least klaro what are the number of cases being investigated. Andito sa batas profile and information of each case, kung ano yung na-file, tapos number of victims, tapos disaggregated data o SAEC, and victims and so on. Tapos ito yung tinatanong ng chairwoman ko, si gender, age, nationality, income group, etc. So kung maaari, buhayin na natin yan, nasa batas naman yan.
If I may po,
Yes,
Madam Chair and
I see
Senator
that.
Amy. So right now, we are currently working on the centralized database. We have now the Protect portal by the IACAT. Initially, the Protect portal database, together with, we're working closely with PNP and NBI. It only refers to trafficking in persons cases. But we are in the process of extending it to include all other types of OSAEC cases. And we're hoping to roll it out together with IACAT within the year so that all OSAEC cases that are being investigated and filed in court could also be, we could also gather those data.
If I may, wag lang yung OSAEC cases. Kasi ang dami-dami rin kaso pala sa PNP. Ang dami-dami rin sa CICC. So I think it's important that we put it all together. For all you know, you'll probably be able to align the cases. Baka yung iba dyan, pare-pareho mga perpetrator. Yung pala, sindikato na yan. Tapos kung nasa abroad, makikita mo, so, nagsasanga-sanga. Di ba, ganyan talaga yung mga cybercrime So, importante na hindi lang DOJ, kundi
Yes po.
yung iba, idamay na natin silang lahat.
Yes po. And kaya dun po din sa proposed bill po ng, although admittedly it's just on OSAEC and CSAM, yes po, we are really pushing for information sharing po. Medyo may issue lang po tayo sa mga information sharing, so not just among government agencies, but even including private entities po na makapag-information sharing po tayo for better detection.
Salamat, OIC Executive Director. Since we're talking about the private entities at nabanggit na rin kanina yung ating mga Smart and Globe, kung pwedeng matanong, well, you've really been our invaluable partners in the last few years in our battle against OSAIC and CSAM, kahit dito sa Senate Committee on Women. But it seems we're seeing a distinctly new animal here. Children being victimized by violent extremists, tulad ng sinabi ni Colonel Desiderio kanina. Mahirap dito, walang madaling smoking gun na ma-identify. Kahit nila siguro at the outset, there are no naked photos that systems can immediately detect. So, paano makakatulong ang private sector sa pagtugon sa hamon na ito? Given na nadinig din natin na hindi lang pala siya isolated sa Laguna, pero kumakalat na sa buong bansa. So, could we hear first from Globe? Mr. Santos.
Good morning, Madam Chair. First and foremost, I think from a telco perspective, it's quite challenging, and we recognize the challenge because we're infra, and we don't actually have purview in terms of looking into what's happening in Roblox from a legal perspective. But having said that, we are actually doing our own initiatives. Specifically, for example, for the start of the year, we partnered with NCC, OSAIC, CSAM, even DOJ, CWC, and others for Safer Internet Day. We celebrated that last February, and it was a strong effort on our part. We reached out to 16 schools to teach over 3,000 kids, but that's only for this year. Last year, we were able to do more, specifically around 16,000 students educated around OSAIC, CSAIB, and other threats online, including teaching them about keeping safe online, specifically trying to understand, what are the tells or signals of grooming, of other threats, even talking about the issues on overexposure to violent games, including pornography, and how it changes the mind in terms of exposure. So we are doing that, and we've doing that for the past 10 years.
Salamat, Mr. Santos. I remember nung hearings din sa OSAIC CSAIM, ganun yung original na concern din ng Globe, pati ng SMART na infra kami. So what can we really do? Pero lumabas sa legislative process na yon, especially in coordination with the government agencies, marami kayong magagawa, even by those education efforts. At saka kapag may signal na from the government regulators, request for assistance from the internet service providers, nakaka-step up po kayo. So, thank you for attending this hearing and also being open and I hope willing to extend the same kind of partnership laban dito sa pag-victimize sa mga bata sa gaming platforms. Could we hear from Smart? Paano nyo nakikita makakatulong ang private sector sa particular na usaping ito?
Yeah. First of all, good morning, Madam Chair.
Morning,
Thank
Ivan.
you for giving Smart and PLDT the opportunity to appear before this committee. As you mentioned, even during the pandemic, when we were crafting the OSAIC law, we were very much active and we were strongly in support of passing the OSAIC law. And after its passage, we have been strongly coordinating with all the government agencies in strictly enforcing, implementing this law. In fact, even now, we've been coordinating with all the different agencies, especially with the DICT, NTC, CICC, in doing a lot of efforts also, on the side pa, in terms of being monitoring and tracking, of course, within legal bounds, not only OSAIC, but other online and other cyber scams proliferating online. So with this, we again reaffirm our commitment to be strictly monitoring and enforcing within the bounds of the OSAIC law and other laws of the Republic of the Philippines to enforce child protection, anti-terrorism, and all the other illegal online activities that proliferates, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you to Attorney Ibay also for mentioning, in addition to countering CSAIC o SAEM, partnerships with government, including the legislature, against cyber scams. So yung extra effort na pwedeng gawin ng private sector to address these concerns.
So he will be seated alone.
If I could have a follow-up question to Deep Web Connect, kaugnay pa rin nung isa ring binanggit ni na Colonel Desiderio, ano po yung concerns ninyo sa mga militarized or extremist-themed na role-playing groups at paano niya nano-normalize yung mga harmful behaviors sa mga bata lalo na?
Okay. Madam Chair, we have identified role-playing groups that mimic militarized structures. Specifically, some groups within the Roblox or some games within the Roblox. So, may mga na-identify po kaming mga games like the Counter Blocks or Black Hawk Rescue Mission 5 na nag-serve as simulation po ng AFP and military, and meron din pong simulation ng fight between the authorities and the rebel groups. So sila po yung kumbaga nagsisilbing breeding ground po ng mga bata or kumbaga nag-influence dun sa mga bata na ma-expose sila sa mga ganong activities even though virtually, pero nagkaroon po sila ng idea or nagkaroon po sila ng exposure sa pamagitan po ng mga ganong games. Yun po.
Salamat, Mr. Talatala. Could we go back now to Roblox, Ms. Calaco and colleagues? What are the current chat monitoring protocols of Roblox, and how can dangerous conversations happen on the platform? You announced earlier that you will be limiting or even blocking the chats, especially for the youngest group of users or players. But what are the current protocols and how are the new ones you're announcing going to be substantially different from those?
Yes, Senator, so as you mentioned, we filter all chat so that not only for bad words and words that might be offensive, but if anyone is trying to share PII, personally identifiable information, or trying to coordinate dangerous activity, it's extremely difficult to do that on Roblox. We see a greater risk, and something that we'd love to work with this government and other members of industry on, a greater risk when people can leave Roblox and move to other platforms for coordination. And so this platform hopping is something that we are aware of and that we take really seriously. But it is actually very difficult to coordinate on Roblox. It's not impossible, but it's much more difficult than in other messaging apps. I would also just note that Roblox is not an encrypted platform. We are a gaming platform and we are for play. And in that kind of environment, we don't think it's appropriate to have encrypted communication. So that enables us to better work with law enforcement in a privacy protective way to ensure that users stay safe.
Thank you. But you are surely aware that though you are not an encrypted platform, players, especially those who are only pretending to be who they're pretending to be in the game, they code their language, especially towards prospective victims or their targets, whom they will later on migrate to encrypted platforms. But while still playing on Roblox, they use code words, especially to replace words that Roblox and other platforms do not allow. Especially, you mentioned bad words earlier. Not just curse words, but words about violent actions. They use codes. And they're able to use them in their play, in their game, openly on Roblox, even before migrating their intended victims to the encrypted platforms. Is Roblox trying to move on that, especially under your newly announced and to be implemented protocols?
Yes, so we are aware of what you're referring to, which is cryptographic use of terms that is a constant moving target. And I would address that in two ways. One is to say that this is one of the ways that we use AI is to try and track these behaviors and the use of these terms so that we can be aware of these trends faster. I would also say that we have great luck partnering with governments in local languages so that we understand what are the terms or trends that we need to be aware of in local languages, not just in, for example, English, but in Tagalog or Filipino or other languages. And that is something that we would be happy to work with the government in the Philippines on, as well as other members of civil society and advocacy groups. That is something we know we are not the experts in that area, but we always partner with people to try and understand what that terminology is.
And I'm afraid it will be a lifelong task for platforms like Roblox, because as for CSAM, where they're always evolving new words to mask the sexual actions that they're actually referring to with children, same in Roblox. They're always evolving their code, especially for the violent and sexual matters as well. Let's take a half step back from what we were already discussing earlier, at least to give the committee the baseline of how Roblox is as of today, before your new protocols. Can you describe to the committee the content moderation processes and other proactive systems that are in place to detect grooming behavior in real time? How effective are they? So, as you admitted earlier, not completely. And how often are they upgraded? So you're going to upgrade them as of this week. But what do they look like as of today?
Yes. So we use a combination of both human moderation as well as automated systems to prevent, detect, and address any behaviors that may violate our community guidelines, but specifically those behaviors that present a material safety risk to players. So things like grooming or terrorism and violent extremism. Every single, what we call asset, every single image that you see on Roblox is screened before it's uploaded, usually by an automated system, so that we know if there is, for example, a hate symbol or something that is synonymous with grooming or terrorism and violent extremism, we can try to catch that at the point that it is uploaded. Once everything is in the environment and on Roblox, we do rely on real-time filtering to try and prevent people from being able to coordinate, whether that's grooming behavior or whether that is other kinds of unsafe behaviors. We use that real-time chat filtering so that people are not able to coordinate. So for example, a groomer would not be able to get a child's phone number or home address because we would block any numbers that we see that they're trying to chat. I do.
And
see
now you're
as-
going
as-
to actually block chats for players below 9 years old, right?
Correct.
All
So
right,
that
please proceed.
filtering has always been in place. Prospectively, so starting soon, but announced yesterday, no players under the age of 9 will be able to chat at all. Players between the ages of 10 and 15 will have a different experience, and then others a different experience as well. So
Although those are,
kind of giving
no, as a mother yourself, those are practically kids too. Preteens and
Yes.
mid-teens, yeah.
Yeah. And we do have developmental psychologists on staff that we obviously speak to about developmental stages. We also, part of the demarcation in those ages comes from global game ratings. When you look globally at ratings, you tend to see different ratings for under 9s, 9 to 12, 12 to 15. And so we're trying to align with those, but parents
Global
can
game
inform-
rating.
Game ratings.
Okay, so gaming is the decisive element here, even more than child psychology, at least from that instrument.
Those ratings are created with child psychologists, so and they're not created by us, and that's really for content, accessing content. The communication controls, the chat controls that I'm talking about, this is something that we have inputted in the platform that have nothing to do with game ratings, that really are just meant to kind of protect children. And again, many children who are in their teens, they are chatting with each other on iMessage and they are messaging. We just want to make sure that if they're doing that on Roblox, we at least can filter all of that messaging. We believe if children are chatting on Roblox, they are safer than if they are on other platforms where those protections may not exist. With that said, we know that we are not perfect. Like you said, it is a constant evolving threat landscape and something that we need to be vigilant in addressing, but we do believe that they are fundamentally safer on Roblox than in other environments where protections may not exist.
I just wanted to add in addition
Yes,
to what
please.
Nikki. Oh, I'm sorry, Senator. I just wanted to add very quickly that in addition to what Nikki just said, on top of the automated systems, and I think you actually mentioned the human kind of component. So the automated systems allow us to scale and address all of the content that Nikki mentioned, but then there's a escalation path to human moderation to augment the automated systems, where we are constantly working to kind of up our game in that area, including partnering externally with organizations that focus on these sorts of topics to continue to educate ourselves, to learn and to plug into the very latest, so that our the human components of our moderation systems are evolving as much as our automated systems are as well.
Well, that's good to hear, sir, because there are certainly things that human beings will always be able to detect even more keenly or faster than even automated systems. Now, we heard that you rolled out age verification protocols. Again, this is pre-yesterday's announcement. So, but can you tell us about those? Can you comment on reports we gathered that even these age verification protocols can actually be gamed? For example, on TikTok, some people are selling images of their face, adults, for kids to use. So can your system, human and automated, can your system work around that?
Yeah, so we use a technology that is developed by a third party called Persona. It is a facial age estimation tool. Notably, it uses a video selfie. So in the example that you just described, it is not possible to just look at someone's face and to say, okay, they're over a certain age or below a certain age. It has to be a video selfie. We think that's important because that is a lot more difficult to game. We are aware that the accuracy of this tool is highly accurate within a range of 1 to 3 years. And if we believe that there is some discrepancy in the age, we always take the lowest possible age in assigning age. All of the data that is collected by the facial age estimation tool, by our third-party company, is hard deleted after it's used. It is never used for commercial purposes. I will say, though, that when we talk about age verification broadly, both on Roblox and across the internet, there are no silver bullet technologies that will prevent every single instance of gaming. What we are trying to do is to vastly reduce the risk. It is possible that any parent could say, sure, I'll use my face so that you can have access to all of the different tools. And if a parent makes that choice, our technology will not know that it's the parent and not the child. So almost any technology on the planet can be gamed, and that's true online and off. What we are trying to do is to reduce the risk and to offer a product that we think is accurate with a very, very high degree and work to improve that accuracy over time.
To reduce the risk, are you able, for example, to talk with, say, TikTok about that phenomenon that adults are selling the profiles of their faces on that platform to kids for use on your platform?
We certainly work with other platforms. So if there are safety issues, platforms do not compete when it comes to safety. We would be absolutely happy to speak with them, and the reverse also.
So you're not
true
yet?
We're not yet, but I will note that I have not personally been made aware of people selling the images or videos of the facial age estimation. But
So the committee's making you aware right now. We'll forward you any other details we have on that, but please start looking into TikTok being a space for this.
Senator, I'll just add
Yes.
to supplement to what Nikki just mentioned, that we also are working on systems that after someone has gone through the facial age estimation process and been assigned an age, there are systems that are running on Roblox that are looking for signs that there may be a mismatch, error, bad actors, things to try to circumvent our systems, to question and then repose the facial age estimation prompt to those users. So an example would be if someone had, let's say, an adult stand in for them for the facial age estimation process and were assigned a 21 plus rating because they got an adult to do it for them. As they're using Roblox and typing words that are more associated with younger users, the games and experiences they're playing, the types of friends they have on Roblox, those sorts of things, those things send us signals that maybe this isn't the right calculation and that we should require the facial age estimation process of that user. So as we're rolling this out, to your point around like testing these things, one of the things we're looking to continue to evaluate is the efficacy of our systems and our ability to detect any mismatches for whatever reason and reprompt folks so that we have continued fidelity in terms of the age appropriateness of the assigned user.
When you mentioned mismatch, I just suddenly thought, does it mean that Roblox is also compiling a database of previous incidents of misrepresentation? No, you're not yet doing that.
Oh, I don't think so. No, what I thought you were going with, I shook my head too early, Senator. I thought you were saying, you were going to say about a database of facial, information about someone. And as Nikki mentioned, all of the facial age estimation scanning is used immediately for the age bucketing and then deleted.
Thank you. Well, my follow-up question was going to be to Meta, but unfortunately they're absent. So again, they should be here in the next hearing because these matters of circumvention of age verification also have to do with their platform. So I'll continue with a few more questions for Roblox at this point. I heard from our foreign law enforcement sources that Roblox had around 20,000 cyberline reports to NECMEC, which is US-based, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. 20,000 cyber tip line reports. What are these reports about, roughly? And so just so we can all get a sense of the harms that can befall children on your platform?
Yeah, so we have a duty to report anything to the National Center that could be a potential instance of illicit activity or something that could be harmful to children. And we report those every time that we have them. And 20,000 is obviously a large number. Roblox has 144 million daily active users. And so, and we report every instance, even if it's a duplicate instance, because that is that's our duty to the National Center. So those are potential cases or things that we would want them to analyze. It doesn't mean that everything is problematic, and some of those are duplicative, but that is how we work with NCMEC currently.
I understand 20,000 is point how many zeros % of the overall magnitude, but as an absolute number, it still catches attention. So again, roughly, what are those reports about? Why did you feel moved to report them to NCMEC?
Yeah, we could get you additional detailed information on when we report things to NCMEC from members of our law enforcement team, but those are potential instances of child endangerment or illicit activity involving children, and that's when we report.
All right, thank you. And what data can you provide on harmful in-game interactions, and what percentage of them are detected even before they are reported by your users?
I don't have data on that right now handy. However, in our follow-up information that we provide the committee, we would be happy to give you more detailed information on abuse reports and when in the quote-unquote funnel we find those reports. We'd be happy to give you more information.
Okay, thank you so much, because that will also guide us in crafting the legislation that we're contemplating. Lastly, at this point in time for Roblox, what are your current reporting mechanisms, and what's the turnaround time for you to respond to these reports and take action?
Mm-hmm. So there are different kinds of reports on Roblox. I will note that for governments, we have a special channel that we make available to governments, including to your government. And when you reach out with a report via that channel, those are handled in a matter of hours, if not sooner. So those are amongst the mostly highly prioritized reports that we get. On the site, that there is a way to report content in line so that you can report a potential instance of abuse while you're playing Roblox. However, we are mindful that Roblox is not like other companies that say you have to be 13 to use our service. We have young children on Roblox who are playing with friends, who are learning to code, who are using Roblox in education. Because we have young children, we're aware that reporting for them can be difficult. So we want that reporting functionality to be there. We also realize that we need things that allow them to get help, even if they aren't able to navigate to a reporting menu. And so we do use AI in terms of, filtering communication and other what we call multimodal moderation to be able to understand where potential instances of abuse occur.
You mentioned that you respond to or take action on these reports within hours. How many hours is that? And on the other end, how many hours or days is the longest turnaround time for Roblox?
For the reports that come from government, from our trusted flaggers, it's usually a matter of hours. Sometimes they submit law enforcement requests to us through a portal that we have called Codex, and depending on the size of that request, that could take longer. We usually acknowledge those, but sometimes it takes longer to amalgamate the data. And other reports, user reports, we triage those to make sure that if somebody's reporting something that's materially harmful as opposed to just annoying or bothersome, that we're looking at those faster. I don't have information on what the longest has taken, but we strive to answer all reports within a matter of hours.
Though you don't have data on the longest, would it take days, for example, or just hours also in terms of longest?
I am not aware of any reports having taken days. However, I don't know the full gamut of what somebody might be reporting that could require more time. So again, we would be happy to follow up with more information on reporting times just to make you feel comfortable that we're either doing the right thing or that we have more work to do. We'd be happy to give you some information.
Thank you. And of course, as I'm sure you know, it's not about making the committee feel comfortable. It's just that our sense, as I'm sure you have, that between hours and days could make the difference between when the predator or the groomer will be able successfully to migrate the young person or the child to an encrypted platform beyond the reach even of Roblox's mechanisms. So just that. Thank you very much, Ms. Calaco. And Mr. Sorry, I don't see your name on the screen.
Palmieri.
Monitor.
Edward
Palmieri. All right. Thank you very much to both of you for joining us. And if you don't have to log off yet, please stay on. But if you need to, we'll be in touch. The committee will be in touch with you aside from the other resource persons here. Could I move now to our NGOs who are here? Please take your turns if you'd like to weigh in on this. Ano pong mga safeguards ang dapat mandatory sa mga platforms tulad ng Roblox na talagang hinihikayat, lahat ng tao, pero in particular, hinihikayat yung mga minors na maglaro o mag-communicate sa kanila. Who would like to go first? Yes. Oh, not NGO, but please, Yusek Tapales of CWC.
Madam Chair, just to contribute to the conversation, we appreciate Roblox efforts to liaise and coordinate with the DICT and the CICC. But for the Council for the Welfare of Children, and I think everybody would agree, Roblox is a product for children. Unlike social media, which we can argue that it's not really for the small kids, Roblox is for kids. So it has no reason not to be safe for children. So while we appreciate the responsible gatekeeping by requiring ID, spatial verification through AI and other methods, Madam Chair, it's just a start. It's just the tip of the iceberg. The important thing for the Council for the Welfare of Children is to maintain the safety for children of that environment, the gaming platform. Roblox mentioned the use of AI. We appreciate that because in OSAE cases, Madam Chair, there are AIs identifying images and even the conversation or the language. So if Roblox is really implementing that, that's a step in the right direction. But we admit that there are limitations in technology, but self-policing the platform and making it safe for children is a mandatory thing to do. Globe, PLDT Smart, Globe Fintech is here. I think GCash is also here. Paymaya. All of these internet intermediaries are self-policing, Madam Chair, pursuant to RA 11930, the Anti-OSAIC Society Act. And if we ask them now, Madam Chair, I'm confident, especially Attorney Roy Ibay can give you a figure how many URLs and harmful sites that they have taken down, Madam Chair. I'm just concerned that while Roblox is mentioning a lot of technologies being used and methods, they cannot give us data, Madam Chair, or figures. While in the 2024 NECMEC report, Roblox has reported 24,522 cyber tip line reports. It can be one of two things, Madam Chair. It can be that Roblox is relatively safe, while of course we don't want children to be harmed. It's relatively low, or their mechanism is safety mechanisms are not really functioning that well, or the safety mechanism is not that robust for children. That's why for the Council for the Welfare of Children, while we think that perhaps banning the chat function for below 9 is a good step, it's a step in the right direction. But if you check the studies on OSAIC, Madam Chair, when it comes to children between 12 to 17, Madam Chair, 95% are already in the internet. And in 2021, 20% of those children were victimized or were subjected to OSAIC for an approximately 2 million Filipino children, Madam Chair. So what happens to those above 9 years old, Madam Chair? So perhaps above 9 children should also be regulated, and not just by physical manpower, but perhaps with the use of AI. That's why we agree with the amendment of Republic Act 11930, Madam Chair, because aside from strengthening the NCC o SAIC-CSAM, it also expanded the definition of children to include AI, to make room for AI and other emerging technologies, Madam Chair. Because in other countries, they're not even talking about AI anymore. They're talking about quantum technology, Madam Chair, which is more problematic according to experts. That's why we support that, Madam Chair. But aside from that, Madam Chair, what else is Roblox doing to make the environment safe? If there is such a reporting mechanism, what's the figure? How do they flag reports? Are these reports by users, by parents, or do they self-police like our internet intermediaries? How do they regulate? How people report to them? How are they linked to our law enforcement agencies? I'm not sure if they are linked to DICT and CICC, Madam Chair. They mentioned that the government has a special channel of communication or way of communicating with Roblox. I'm not sure if CICC and DICT can confirm that, because I'm not familiar with any reporting mechanism, Madam Chair. And while the use of AI perhaps is being done now and perhaps will be strengthened in the future, the fact that the PNP has reported games radicalize or people radicalizing our kids in that platform, it means that system or that protection mechanism is not really working, Madam Chair. So perhaps, while of course I think they are doing something positive, of course, dealing with the government and, of course, attending the Senate hearing. But we have a long way to go, Madam Chair. And I think for the Council for the Welfare of Children, let's go back to the basic, a child safeguarding and protection system or protection policy to be implemented by Roblox is fundamental, Madam Chair. So that Roblox would understand that in the Philippines, there is such a thing as best interest of the child. We have values like protecting children. We have constitutional concepts like parens patriae, Madam Chair, which is not perhaps available in other countries. So before Roblox even employ technology and other mechanisms to make children safe, they must understand the Filipino children. They must understand the Philippines. And when they understand that, and when they have the child safeguarding and protection policy, everything flows from there, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, Yusek Tapales. Roblox, I hope you were listening and took note of that. We would really doubly appreciate the data that you will be submitting, also for the consideration of all the stakeholders around the table and to guide the committee in crafting our legislation. I wonder also if your coordination so far with the ICT and CICC was a one-off with that meeting, or if that's moving towards institutionalization. And of course, what Yusek Tapales said cannot be overemphasized, that it's really a fundamental duty of Roblox, which even looks like it's mainly targeting children as its players or users to create a safer environment. Thank you, Yusek Tapales. Could we hear from Terdesom also what our NGO's perspectives are on what should be done to make platforms like Roblox and others truly safe for children?
Good afternoon po. So I'm here for Terdesom, Netherlands, and also for the Child Rights Network. It's the largest alliance of child protection NGOs in the Philippines. Siguro nag-uumpisa kami dun sa children have rights in the digital age. And these rights do not disappear simply because the online environment carries risks. So, meron po kaming specific recommendations that Roblox might consider. Nauna na po yung pag-strengthening age verification systems na discuss na po kanina. Pero siguro mas maganda pong tingnan din yung combination ng age verification via IDs and i-combine siya with age estimation, so mas accurate. Maganda rin po sana kung yung systems must be transparent and explained in clear child-friendly language para yung mga bata can truly understand what they are consenting to. Nirecommend din po namin yung increased frequency ng re-verification para yung pagbebenta ng mga yung mga faces, yung mga ma-overcome natin. And then siguro dun sa age verification, baka we are assuming that children have their own devices. Marami pong bata from low-income households have shared gadgets, sibling share phones. So, minsan po yung 8 years old and below, minsan nag-share siya dun sa kapatid niya na mas matanda sa kanya. So, baka minsan moot point yung pag-disable ng chat sa 8 years old and below kung hindi mo rin naman titingnan yung mas matandang mga bata. Maganda rin po sanang tingnan na yung mga bata, they also access through PisoNet Wi-Fi. So, marami doon unsupervised access. How will I guess Roblox and the government also address that. Magandang tingnan po ano yung role ng schools and communities sa dito para yung protection hindi lang po siya nakadepende on whether parents are digitally literate or present. Magandang tingnan din po kasi sa experience namin, children report abuses to peers more than siguro magre-report sila sa platforms or inire-report nila to sa trusted adults. So, paano sasampa yung informal reporting mechanism dun sa formal reporting mechanisms that we have right now? Pagdating po sa communication and reporting features, meron pong tinatawag na trusted connections sa Roblox. Yung mga anak ko may ganito. So, if you're 9 years old and above, so you have to, the parent has to approve yung trusted connection. But, also, for 9 years old and above, kapag consent, pag binigay ng bata yung consent, and yung kausap niya, binigay din yung consent, that's also considered a trusted connection. So, nababypass na yung parents. So, ang recommendation po namin, either enable trusted connection between adults and minors only through parental consent or remove this communication feature altogether. Reporting mechanisms, simple, accessible, and child-friendly para children can feel safe to report harmful behavior. Pagdating po sa parental consent and oversight, you can sign up kasi kahit walang email eh. So baka po magandang tingnan din yung area na yun. For our side, so government side and for the civil society sector side, magandang palakasin yung antas ng kaalaman ng mga magulang at ng schools in addressing, and also in spotting red flags. In terms of content moderation system, as far as we know, parang wala pong human moderators. Maganda pong tingnan din yung magkaroon ng well-trained human moderators, and also, yung moderation system must be able to detect behavioral patterns para, consistent siya dun sa age verification. Also, yung coordination po between gaming platforms, law enforcement, and government agencies. Hindi lang kasi, when you remove Roblox in the equation, papasok pa rin yung ibang online things. So, if you just target one thing, hindi nyo ma-address yung kabuuan problema natin. And also, siguro finally for us, yung recognize that children are not just users to be protected, but as stakeholders to be heard. Maganda rin pong magkaroon ng consultation sa mga kabataan at ano yung kanilang insights on this proposed ban. So, yun po, we encourage you to resist the urge for sweeping bans that intentionally silence, isolate, or exclude children from the very spaces that shape the future that they will inherit.
Thank you so much, Ms. Joanna, also for bringing in that perspective. Yes, Asek, I'll be calling you next po. You want to jump into the discussion? Yes, sir. Just briefly, for articulating that perspective, which is at the heart also of the Committee on Women and Children as stakeholders who must be heard in all these. I hope Roblox, from what you were able to understand of the input, there was a lot of valuable input here, also in the Filipino language, and we'll be forwarding you that ways that even your existing and probably newly announced protocols must be aware of that the system could be intentionally or unintentionally bypassed. Also because of the situation of users and players here. And thank you also, Ms. Joanna, for reminding me also of something that Yusek Tapales mentioned that I hope Roblox picked up, that even that disabling of chats may be something to be considered even for older age groups, for the reasons cited by Ms. Joanna and Yusek Tapales. So, Asik Asis, please, you wanted to interject.
Thank you, ma'am, for the privilege. Actually, this is not related directly to the Roblox, but however, I cannot let this privilege to pass without stating also the efforts of the DSWD. Since the passage of the OSAIC, the SWD initiated so much program, and it exerted efforts, programs, time on how to give place to the law. And one of the program is the so-called SIP, which was initiated, this was conducted through the Social Technology Bureau of the SWD. We are also closely coordinating with the CWC as well as the NACSI, which are under our supervision. Now, the program that was initiated is called the SIP, which means Support to Abandon, Forgotten, and Exploited Children in the OSAIC. This is a holistic model of intervention that aims to strengthen the preventive and protective mechanism for the recovery and safe integration of children, the children victims of online sexual abuse and exploitation of children, and prevent the risk of re-victimization. Specifically, it aims to capacitate children, parents, or guardian on safe, responsible use of technology, improve reporting, case management, and referral system of OSAIC, facilitate healing of children, victims, survivors of OSAIC and the families, and ensure safe reintegration of OSAIC and OSAIM victim survivors to their family and community. As part of the project inception, the DSWD established a strategic partnership with key organizations and agencies to develop and enhance essential tools and training materials in collaboration with the International Justice Mission Philippines, Consuelo Zobel Alger Foundation, and CHIB, the Children Philippines. A suite modules was developed and refined, including the family framework engagement, child online protection, COP, digital parenting literacy, DPL, and the family healing. And we also, the DSWD also coordinated with the different LGUs in different parts of the countries precisely to give impetus to the OSAIC law. So this will be rendered nugatory unless the Roblox is properly addressed. So we fully support the investigation that somehow would help and enhance the existing program of the Department of Justice. That's all, Madam Chairman.
Salamat po, Assistant Secretary. Sigurado yung mga lessons natin and the better models or best practices we've developed combating OSAIC and CSAM, makakagabay din sa atin how to address children who are harmed on online gaming platforms. In the same way, yung mga learnings natin combating cyber scams na binanggit ng Smart kanina also contribute to our work in preventing harms sa digital space. So, salamat po. Could I have an input from one of our resource persons, one of our young resource persons. But could I please also ask PNP ACG, Colonel Desiderio, yung ibang mga kaso? Dahil kanina po binanggit nyo yung nakakashock na may nag-suicide po. Ano po
Yes,
ba?
ma'am. Doon sa, I have mentioned yung mga cases, ma'am. The first case we have encountered, ma'am, happened last year, actually. Last October 2025. So it happened at Marikina. So naagapan to, ma'am. Supposed to be, he was induced to conduct a potential mass shooting. But it was na-block and nagkaroon ng rescue operation conducted by ACG. One case happened last year also, October 21 of 2025. This involved a grade 10 student in Marikina City. So this victim took his grandfather's licensed firearm without permission. So he pointed the firearm to his classmate and himself while joking, then fired the said firearm. So the victim later died at the hospital. So nakita natin, sir, ma'am, when we checked the cell phones and other gadgets of this victim, so andun yung that he was possibly influenced by this violent extremism. Other case, we had yung grade 12 student naman in Batangas. So it happened only this year of February 5, 2026. So he brought a caliber 45 firearms sa school, and yung incident reported by his classmate. Then he drew the gun, then fired twice at the classroom floor, then shot himself despite intervention attempts. So he later died in the hospitals. And under investigation yung motive, and yung nga, ma'am, when we nagkaroon din tayo ng checking on his gadgets, so andun din po yung tracing na he was possibly nag-groom din to conduct this incident. Pero the parent decided not to file any case or whatever. So yun yung mga cases natin. And ito naman sa Calamba, yung latest. And one is Las Piñas. So dito and Negros Occidental. Sa Las Piñas nakakuha tayo ng how many more or less 20 replica of firearms. So yun yung mga natin, ma'am. Information dito sa mga cases that we handled. Thank you.
Salamat din, Colonel. So reiteration ng iba't ibang klase at mga grabeng harms na dumarating o nagagawa ng mga bata, mga kabataan sa mga kapwa bata at sa mga sarili nila na umaabot nga dun sa yung sukdulan, no? Yung kikitliin yung sariling buhay. So it's also related to mental health, and maybe the Department of Health would also look into this more purposefully, dahil nagko-converge po yung iba't ibang negative influences dito sa common space ng internet. It's supposed to be a space for good, pero sa iba't ibang paraan ginagawang scene of crimes. Okay, thank you so much. And so would DOH like to comment on that? Department of Health, ma'am? Yes, ma'am. Please come forward po, Doktora. Yes, please. If you could just make your name again of record, Doktora.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Bernadette Arsena. I am a psychiatrist representing the 700 psychiatrists all over the country under the Philippine Psychiatric Association. Now, the reason why I wanted to speak in behalf of us mental health professionals is that ang laki na talaga ng nangyayari sa ating mundo. I would always tell myself, where are the children? Why are they not playing? Why are they not frolicking? You see them having their laptops, iPads, even Di ba yung mga kabataan, kahit na hindi na binabantayan ng kanilang mga nanay, nandun ang iPod, no? So, where have all our parenting go? Each and every one of us here, I believe we have our kamag-anak, mga anak, no? Well, of course, we would say, iba ng panahon noon kaysa ngayon. But I think we have no choice but to adapt also, no? For us seniors and also for the younger generation. Suicide rates are, sad to say, getting higher. And they are getting younger. Slashers, we call them slashers. They overdosed because they wanted to numb the pain. Now, for me, we parents and we older ones should protect our children from exposure, especially to social media. May cyberbullying, yung sinabi kanina na sir, no, nakakatakot yun, no? Because the values anymore are not there. So, where are we? Where are we now? So, I would encourage, since I am a member of the Committee on Legislation and Advocacy, and I'm also in media at times, talking about suicide, depression, and dedicating my life to this, Senator Risa. So for me, sana siguro mag-usap-usap talaga tayo. And I think this is just the beginning of a wonderful collabs with everyone. We, the Philippine Psychiatric Association, is really very much into this. Kasi kami kaming puntahan ng mga pasyente, kamag-anak. Recently, I have a patient who died walking, jumping from the 3rd floor. And a lot also sa mga condos, no? So, sana tayo, no? The Roblox, yes, we can control that. We should be very strict with age verification. There are some countries, alam mo, wala silang wifi. Hindi sila gumagamit ng mga electronics during elementary. And, they went into, how do you call this, mental wellness, may mga play sila, may mga pahinga sila, no? So, for me, I'm not so sure. We are just a small group with the PPA, but I hope that this will be heard by everyone, that everyone has a role, no? Hindi lang parents, hindi lang the government officials, hindi lang administration. Every one of us had to do this now. We cannot just afford children dying and we accepting suicidal patients every now and then. Ang dami. In one clinic time that I have, almost 20% are suicidal. So please help us also. And we are gladly here. And I want our voice of the PPA to be heard, that we would not like our children to die desperately. We have to control the social media. Let's prevent cyberbullying. Let's be parents again. Let's give love and care. I think that's all that I can give. Salamat po. Thank you.
Maraming salamat din po, Dr. Arsena, for everything that you have shared and also yung offer of assistance ninyo, hindi lang sa komite, but all the stakeholders around the table. For us parents, for our children, and gaya ng sinabi ko po sa simula, dear colleagues, of course, this big work must not rest alone on the shoulders of parents and children. Kaya salamat sa paglahok ng lahat sa hearing, because we really need all the government, stakeholders, and the private sector as well to work together. Entry point natin itong paano natin i-regulate ang Roblox sa Pilipinas. And we will be very strict about this in our legislative work, and we will expect the executive to continue to be strict also sa implementation. Relying on the private sector as partners, knowing na families, parents and children in the end ay major participants dito sa lipunan, no, that we're trying to shape. And speaking of children, according to one resource person of the committee, and this is about the reporting mechanisms that I was asking Roblox about earlier and that our NGOs were also weighing in on. According to our resource person, after reporting a user, he never saw the user again. Okay, but does that mean that the user was banned or that user was just blocked from accessing the reporting? Could Roblox speak to that? Oh, have they left? Too early. Okay, we will communicate with them in writing. Would the CICC know kapag hindi na nakita ng isang batang player, ang isang user na nireport niya, ibig bang sabihin na ban lang yon or talagang na-block lamang?
So it can be both, Your Honors. It could be the account could have been blocked from the platform entirely, or it could have been banned within that particular age group. Or sometimes we even see that it's just blocked when it comes to that particular user, Your Honor.
All right. So again, both modes will be considered hanggang sa technical working group natin kung pareho bang gusto nating iwan option or do we prefer one or the other at ipasok natin sa panukalang batas. I'm sure DICT, CICC in particular are very much on top of this. Sa inyo ring pag-engage sa Roblox. All right. So unless may, yes ma'am.
Good morning.
Assistant Director Lim for DTI, you have the floor.
Magandang umaga, Madam Chair. Yes po. You from the DTI recognizes the importance po na strengthen natin ang mga legal frameworks. And we will support po any measures such as the adoption of control access measures to protect the child's safety and ensure their protection. The DTI po is vested with the authority, the regulatory jurisdiction over the use of the internet in e-commerce by e-marketplaces, online merchants, and digital platforms. So what's the applicability of this Internet Transactions Act to Roblox? Roblox is a digital platform po. Digital platform considering that they operate as an online gaming and understand po they facilitates in platform purchases. Meron yata silang mga subscription. And with that, ang ating mga bata, while the ITA is not per se the child protection issue but the consumer protection issue, ang ating pong mga children ay online consumers, specifically when they purchases mga virtual currencies. And with that, they have to, these online gaming platforms must exercise and safeguards, must have that appropriate safeguards to protect the interests of the children. And we will support whatever measures nga po, such as kung kailangan natin ng age gating or any appropriate measures that will help to protect the interests of our children. Also, the DTI naman po continuously and intensify its monitoring, having the regulatory jurisdiction over the use of the internet. Although the law recognizes its ancillary jurisdiction, giving respect to the constituted regulatory authority which has primary jurisdiction, kagaya po kung cybercrime issues, the DTI po notifies and coordinates with that concerned agency prior to enforcement. Kasi po the DTI has the authority to issue compliance order, takedown order, and even blacklisting. We also have the law also has extraterritorial application po. So even if Roblox is operating, but meron naman siyang presence in the market, subject po siya sa ating existing laws. However, the DTI is yet to formulate a guidelines specifically for extraterritorial application, and we have challenges for that particular, for the formulation of such guidelines. And also, Madam Chair, the DTI supports the measure, ito pong ating Senate bill, and with that, we recommend po sana to include DTI in the National Coordinating Council to ensure policy coherence po and coordinated enforcement activities in the digital marketplace. That's all. Thank you.
Salamat din, Assistant Director Lim. And after all, broadly speaking, Roblox or online gaming platforms in general could be considered services na subject nga po sa pag-regulate nyo sa mga produkto at serbisyo dito sa loob ng Pilipinas or ng Philippine market. I took note yung sinabi nyong the department is yet to formulate guidelines for extraterritorial application. Please do share that, yung developments dyan sa komite, kasi nga we're in this situation with just one company, Roblox, na wala pa kung magkakaroon, wala pa silang opisina at representante
Madam
dito.
Chair.
Thank you very much po. Oh, wow. Okay. Last round, Dr. Abari, briefly, Yusek Tapales, and Attorney Pagdilaw Flores. Okay, before our closing. Yes, ma'am.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat, Madam Chair. Magandang hapon po. I am Dr. Christine Elena Bari. I am a medical specialist from Department of Health representing National Center for Mental Health. I am also here as a representative din po, no, kasama ang PPA at ang PISCAP. I am also a child and adolescent psychiatrist. And before I read po yung aming stand ng DOH, I would also like to reiterate po na what we're hearing here at this point are already the effects. No? And with addressing the well-being of our children and adolescents, we always have to consider prevention is better than cure. Online games, excessive early exposure and unsupervised exposure po sa online games really has a high correlation with anxiety, depression, as earlier mentioned po, of suicidality. Although we have to consider these are multi-factor po siya. No, not blaming just the Roblox or any online games in that matter po. But we have known that children, kanina po, Senator, you asked, why are they vulnerable? Bakit sila ang target? Because fundamentally, biologically, they are immature. Cognitively, emotionally, they don't have the capacity yet for critical thinking. They cannot differentiate what is real and offline. They cannot differentiate that yet, no? And they are most vulnerable because of the environmental factors. And I'd like to reiterate po, these are the effects. So we should also address how to prevent it already. And this is by ensuring, as the DOH po mentioned po dito sa aming stand, is to make sure na mas matibay po ang child safety measures, not only by Roblox, but also by all online games. Earlier, I am a mother also, Sen, and earlier I asked my daughter, I said, I'll be going to the Senate to hear about the Roblox. And then I asked her for her opinion, and she said, Mommy, you should ban it. I said, why?
Our second child resource person today.
She's 12 years old, Senator Risa. And I asked why. Because, Mommy, even if they have the safety measurement already, all you have to do is go online, go to YouTube, and search how to deactivate parental control. And even as I go here, on my way, I try to search it, and ang dami-dami pong nakalagay on how to deactivate it. So in addition po to enhancing the safety measure for our children, parental control, it is also important that we work with our community, the school, and parents. Most especially po the parents to enhance digital literacy po. That will be all. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat din po, Dr. Christine. Yusek Tapales, briefly po.
Very briefly, Madam Chair. As to the prevention aspect, I fully agree with Doctora. No? That's why the CWC is emphasizing the child safeguarding and protection policy. Yung safeguarding aspect po, Madam Chair, it's about prevention. Ano? Yung mga bagay, situations na hindi pa illegal, hindi pa sakop ng batas natin, pero it might be precursors or preparatory acts, yun po ang nagre-regulate, ano, yung CSPPs na tinatawag. Doon naman sa reporting, Madam Chair, the point stated earlier, no, when it comes to online sexual abuse, only 30 to 40% lang po ang nagre-report. As mentioned by our NGO partner, hindi sila nagre-report. Usually trusted adult yan nagre-report. Ano, and only 4% report to the police, to social workers, or to a helpline. That's why we want to emphasize that mechanism, reporting mechanism, should be functional. Because if you have if you don't have a reporting mechanism, or if it's not functional, children or people reporting will lose trust in the system. And doon na po mapupunta kina doktora sa NCMH po. No? We want to avoid that. We don't want children because it took them a lot of courage to begin with to report. So if reports are not acted upon or reporting mechanisms are not functional, they will lose trust in the system. We will lose them, Madam Chair. Kaya po ang gusto siguro one example that we can look at is the revised RRR of the Anti-Bullying Act. There's a provision there stating that zero reporting or zero figures or bullying cases does not mean that the school is performing well. So it should the same goes perhaps to for internet intermediaries and gaming platforms, Madam Chair. Hindi po kumuwala o mababa ang reporting, the platform is safe. Maybe there's no reporting mechanism, there's no, or it's not functional, Madam Chair. No? So in any legislation, perhaps a provision like that, Madam Chair, no? So that platforms will really establish robust reporting mechanisms. They will act on the reports, Madam Chair, and for those who, for the reports which they cannot handle by themselves, of course, the government, the law enforcement agencies are here, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Yusek Tapales. And last but not the least, yes, Attorney Barbara
Thank you po,
Lim.
Madam Chair. In addition to requiring not just gaming platforms, but all online platforms to really install safety by design mechanisms in their platforms, we also would like to flag, insofar as Roblox is concerned, to improve their efficiency in reporting. So it's been reported that although they report cases to NICMIC, a lot of these cases reported are not actionable, simply because there's no way to move forward for the with regard to investigation of cases. So even if it's reported that there's online enticement, there's grooming, if you look at the reports, there are no details that could help or assist the law enforcement agencies to move forward. Like, for example, when I tried to open an account in Roblox, there's really no very detailed questions like to verify my identity. Like I could just made up some emails or made up an identity and do the age verification, and that's it. Because they don't look for IDs, they don't look for any other identifying details to identify who you are. So for example, if it's reported to NICMIC and then forwarded to our law enforcement agencies, we have nothing to go forward with, right? Because there are very insufficient details. So I think that still goes back to how they gather data, because they're very concerned about data privacy. That's why they don't ask for identification cards. But then we have to balance it with child protective policies. So I think that's really one aspect that we have to look into also. Because right now, their age verification is really more on facial recognition, not on any other, and behavioral analysis.
Thank you, ma'am. Tama eh, kailangan balansehin yung data privacy saka yung best interest of the child at yung pagprotekta sa mga bata sa mga potentially or actually dangerous situations. I saw, okay, last two, briefly, Yusek Paraiso, and save the best for last, Commissioner Lopez. Okay, Yusek.
So, magpapaalam na rin ako kay Com Ella. Mauna na po ako, Com. But, well, Madam Chair, we like to emphasize that banning was really not the option. Banning was really the last option. But we have to state that...
Sorry, Yusek Paraiso. May I just say, you don't have to be shy. CICC doesn't have to be shy na naisip nyo mag-ban. I think it was a natural response dahil nga wala pa yung extraterritorial application. Wala pa nga tayong batas. Tinatrabaho ngayon ng komite. So we understand, it's very understandable, and we are talking about various options here now, from banning to strict regulation. Please continue.
Yes, Madam Chair. In fact, earlier we stated that because we were considering banning, because these entities who are outside the jurisdiction of the Philippines have no right to seek protection under our laws as well. In fact, when all we were discussing, whether it's the DTI or SAIC cases, child cases, even scams and even cybercrimes, the problem really is acquiring jurisdiction over all these platforms. I think that's the most non-contentious issue here. If we can gather and we can acquire jurisdiction over these platforms, we can effectively legislate and effectively enforce that legislation. Kasi kahit anong legislation yung gawin natin, Madam Chair, kung wala ho sila dito, sino i-enforcean ho natin? And let me propose this, Madam Chair, since it's already on the committee level, there is a discussion now on the revisions of RA 10175 or the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012, which is really, really needed right now, Madam Chair. And maybe that would be the avenue to enforce and explore certain remedies and certain revisions, amendments to the law that would allow us to effectively govern this ongoing online phenomenon that we're experiencing right now. Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you to Yusek Paraiso. At importante yung isa yung punto na binanggit nyo na they have no right to seek the protection of Philippine law if they are not following Philippine law. Or if we want to put it positively, pwede nilang i-enjoy yung protection ng Philippine law pero kailangang sumunod din sila sa batas ng Pilipinas. Salamat po. And last but not the least. Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Lopez.
Madam Chair, good afternoon po. Good afternoon po sa lahat. Sundan ko lang po yung sabi ni Yusek Paraiso, no? Banning naman po talaga is the last option, but it's the only option po kasi available to us now. Because what we're doing is that nakikiusap po tayo sa mga platforms na ito to take action. Yes, they have may mga government portals where we can report, pero naghihintay pa rin po tayo when will they take action on that. The NTC doesn't regulate online content or actually wala kasing regulation talaga on online content and digital platforms directly. But I think we recognize naman that the infrastructure of the telecommunications are very much into whether to disrupt the online activities or to promote online activities. That is why when under the OSA-XSIM law, when the regulators were required to install filtering technologies, they installed filtering technologies. And I think po with the NCC-DOJ, we're also in the process of establishing age verification protocols. As for NTC po and the ICT, I think we have submitted the research paper on that. And we will also provide the committee with documents or information as to age verification protocols established sa ibang bansa at sa ibang digital platforms. Thank you po, and thank you po for this opportunity for inviting the NTC, and ito po yung opportunity then for all the government agencies and the stakeholders to align and maging kasi po as I mentioned po by Senator Amy kanina, medyo fragmented nga po yung ating mga efforts. Maganda nga po na isang kung I don't know if you can establish one agency to be doing that, or a council maybe to mas strengthen po ang powers po. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, Commissioner Lopez. I'm sure the relevant agencies are listening to that, yung mga possible institutional adjustments natin. At salamat din po sa pagdagdag sa mga detalye na sinimulan ng ibigay ng internet service providers natin na you have been able to in the past and could again, if properly requested by the government agencies, take such actions as disruption or promotion, using of filtering technologies, etc. So, subukan natin bigyang daan yon pagdating natin dun sa ating technical working group din. Okay, maraming salamat po sa lahat ng resource persons na dumalo today, especially our law enforcement partners who shared their findings. Salamat po sa inyo, Colonel Desiderio at Ma'am. Friends, if you feel unsettled and concerned after this hearing, you're all right talaga to feel this way. In fact, there'd be something wrong with us kung hindi tayo nabahala. Hindi na kasi ito simpleng content moderation issue o pagbabantay at babysitting. This is violent extremism. Kaya gusto ko pong malaman ninyo na masyadong mabigat talaga kung ipapasan lang natin ito sa mga magulang at sa ating kapulisan. No? And that is why this committee will continue this conversation. Dahil itong banta na ito sa mga bata, itong banta sa seguridad ng ating mga public spaces, mga trahedya na nangyari na o nagbabadya pa, nakikinabang dito ang roadblocks, ang Facebook, mga messaging apps, at kahit mga electronic wallets. Hindi po ito isolated cases. These incidents are happening in different parts of the Philippines, gaya ng narinig natin. Hindi lang ito sa Laguna, hindi lang ito sa Marikina, Las Piñas, Negros Occidental at Pampanga, kundi sigurado, unfortunately, marami pang iba, underreported din. And we cannot allow even one school shooting to happen. Sa susunod na hearing, we will again invite Roblox, but we will also invite the Roblox creator communities. Mahalaga na marinig din natin sila because they understand how the program or the platform works from the inside. We will also call parenting groups. Sila ang nasa front lines araw-araw. Tayo, nasa front lines araw-araw. Sila, tayo, ang nakakaalam kung ano ang screen time, online behavior, and the ways to keep our children safe. At the same time, it is very important that Facebook attend the next hearing. We expect, again, their full cooperation. Facebook, you are not bystanders in this. Kumikita rin kayo sa atensyon, sa traffic, sa engagement. Kaya panagutan ninyo ang pagtawid ng karahasan sa platform ninyo. Nagiging scene of the crime din kayo. If Facebook does not again attend the next hearing, this committee will have no choice but to issue a subpoena to require their presence, to compel it. Standard process lang ito when participation is necessary to protect the public interest. Bago tayo mag-suspend, I want to leave one simple message for fellow parents. I want to assure all of us in this room and observing this by a live stream, there are still other responsible adults like you that we can trust. The adults who prey on our kids and the platforms that let them operate will answer to the law. The safety of our children is a shared responsibility. And we, the adults in this committee and our law enforcement agencies, will continue to act for it. Marami pong salamat. This hearing is suspended.
Sa'yo, Toy. Sa'yo. Yan, itali natin. Tika. Baba mo kunti. Maraming iyak yan. Teka lang ha. Insert. Oh, teka lang. Tulungan lang natin to, baka biglang dumating. Nahipit.
Check, mic test. 1, 2, 3. Naipit yung sa amin, ah. Naipit.